Hello?
I'm still responding
We
to the
did
phone.
it. All right, cool. Hi. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 30-second Momentum Mod Q&A. I can't believe it. We've done 32 of these bad boys. We have plenty more to
Too
go.
many.
Too many.
I
We're
need to
done.
get this
Actually,
fucking
this
thing
is the
done so I can stop.
this is the last. No, I can't joke about that. I love doing these. I wish we could do them more frequently, but it's nice. It's a nice cadence, right? Sorry about the 30-second Q&A. We were answering some very exclusive questions. If you caught any of that, no. But yeah, that was some router issues. I just have to schedule my router to like reset every week or something. But yeah, hi. My name is Nick, aka Goknek. I'm the project and development lead of Momentum Mod, here to answer some of your burning questions that you may have about the game, as well as show it off. You may notice something different. We are trying a new format. We're actually going to be more gameplay oriented and taking live questions and hanging out more. It's a little less formal and just boring staring at us, staring at you, staring at the questions. So a lot less staring, hopefully more, Subway Surfers esque gameplay that you guys can just
Yeah.
enjoy. We'll probably join Mac and Natan here. I joined a lobby here. I guess I can talk a little bit about the game before we get into the questions. This is Momentum Mod. This is the main menu. Multiplayer is in the side menu here. I joined a lobby that Mac was already hosting, completely for free, and we'll be hanging out in this lobby. So if you want to come play with us and you have the game, feel free to join. We'll just be kind of spectating a bunch of different people. Questions ideally should be asked in Discord in our Q&A live channel to just get priority. We're going to be answering those ones first, but then we'll be taking questions live in chat as well. So if you ever have any, just ask them. We'll have the team just kind of collect them, and we'll go through them after we get through the asked questions that show up at the bottom here. So with that out of the way, I'll get in the map here. We'll go to SJ garbage. Why not? Oh, that's not a conc map. Sorry. All right, there we go. And we'll just spec Mac, I guess. And yeah. So I already introduced myself. We can go down the list of everybody in Discord. You guys can introduce yourselves, and we'll get going here.
Mac.
That is
Right?
you, Mac. Yeah.
Oh, it's starting with me. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Mac. I mostly do level design and a bit of tooling work here and there for Momentum Mod. And yeah, I come from the TF2 modes in Momentum Mod mostly, like the sticky jump and the rocket jump are my favorite modes.
Disgusting.
Disgusted.
Sorry, the sound was,
It's me. Sorry, I thought it was HP. No, hi. Sorry, I was totally distracted for the last the start of this.
That's all good.
This is Discord. Okay. Hey, I'm Tom. I'm web dev lead, web systems, whatever. Develop the systems. And whatever. What is it? Yeah. So front end, back end, all that stuff. Some DevOps stuff soon. That will be miserable. Yeah. HP.
I'm XP man. I'm primarily a surf mapper. I basically just help out wherever I can when I have time.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, you've probably seen a lot of Tom recently if you follow our channel on Twitch. Tom's been doing a ton of awesome web dev work. I try to pop in, but sometimes you're like up at 4 a.m. my time, so it's
My sleep has been something, yeah.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
But yeah, I've been doing.
Tom's also up at 4 a.m. my time, so
It's been this is unemployed life. I need to.
It's
maybe in the new year.
That's how a lot of early momentum work happens.
Yeah. I've had a lot of time lately for momentum stuff, so I've been doing a fucking lot of momentum stuff. Excuse my French. Excuse my fucking French. Yeah, I'm a bit tired. I was streaming earlier today actually, and then we've just had like the gauntlet. By that I mean 2 momentum meetings. So I'm a bit tired out. But yeah, a lot of the web dev stuff has been a real grind for a lot of the O10 web dev. Where a lot of it's quite like easy but boring work, and so streaming is really good for that. I just put like loud, stupid music on, and I'll just like stream for 7 hours a day.
You
So
had
yeah,
some
you can
very
catch
odd
me on the channel.
German music on when I tuned in earlier today.
Oh, I'm searching to Neubauten. Yeah.
It's our
Oh, like
oh, I guess
Neubauten.
that leads us to our first question of what everyone's been up to. Tom's been doing a lot of great
Yeah,
web.
shall I take that first then? I
Yeah,
guess?
yeah,
Or-
you're basically
yeah,
already there. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so yeah, O10 as people have probably heard, maybe already. It's got all this map stuff. We've had for the last year or so, we've had our backend rewrite going. Well, that's been going for a while, but like it's been finished in the last sort of 6 months or so. But then we've been adding the new map submission system, which is backend for that's basically done, and front end's about halfway there.
Nice.
So in the last month, I've been doing a lot of the front end stuff. I've been doing this new map submission form. I've been really trying to. Front end for us has often been kind of a last thing. If you think of like the most important stuff of Momentum, is basically like the game is most important. So the game code, so that's all our C++ based game code essentially, and then our UI, which is a mixture of like XML and JavaScript and stuff. So quite like web stuff, but so that tends to get priority. Then the back end matters a lot because well the game uses the back end, and that's all the leaderboards and stuff.
Yeah.
Front end is basically like see the leaderboards in web browser and stuff like that. Currently, you have to be logged in through Steam, which is very convenient for us, and it does help us sort of rate limit our API by stopping just random like bots from spamming it. Right, you need a Steam login, but the fact that in the future, like leaderboards, you will be able to see leaderboards without login because logging in through Steam is a bit annoying. You have to get your phone out a lot of the time and whatnot. So even though it's kind of weird that they even need that, you're doing something. There's not very much security behind doing that. Or needed security. Like we get very little data from Steam. We use Steam as a login because it does tell us who you are on Steam, but also like, whatchamacallit? We just like get your Steam ID and stuff. We don't know your password or anything. Like we can't do anything to your Steam account. Right? That would be silly. Anyway, the rambling. But with front end, like most people probably haven't even used the front end. If you go to momentummod.org/dashboard, you'll get right to Steam. You have to log in. You can see leaderboards and stuff on there. That thing hasn't had much love lately. It's just been a lot of this stuff was done as a sort of university project for mostly Nick, right, and other people at Nick's university, right, and so a lot of it is like. Right, yeah, and I mean, I do like rant about this stuff way too much, but I mean, this was stuff done like 5 years ago by like students who have all sorts of other shit going on in their life, right? And like, there wasn't that much, I don't know, quality control.
Right.
Not much code review as well, which is like honestly is a bit of an issue. Like you read through stuff like in the like styling and stuff, or the just the layouting and stuff recently, and I'm like, this has not been for code review, but it was stuff that had to get done fast and it was quick and dirty, right? We're still using Angular, we're still based off of that front end, but like there's a lot of cruft that like I've been able to just AFK here. Hi. There's just it's needed cleaning up, and that's going pretty well. Angular's in quite a good spot as a library actually. It's got a lot of really good updates. So yeah, a lot of front end stuff. If you're interested in map submission, map porting, the big form that you'll be greeted with if you start doing map submission, where you submit like the BSP files, the zone files, VMF optionally, images, you suggest the leaderboards you want. All this stuff, that's been all this custom front-end stuff. That's been a big learning experience for me. I've had to learn a lot of Angular in the last months, and some of that has been quite boring. But also, a lot of it's been quite fun. It's something when it will work, this whole form, because it sort of has all this validation and stuff, and sort of hangs together in quite fancy ways. Like, it's very satisfying to get done. And I'm currently doing a bunch of restyling, so the site is actually starting to look good. So yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on the restyling because we want to get O10 out and I can go back to restyling and stuff in the future. But yeah, that's been front end. It's fun, I guess. It'd be really great to have because the front page or dashboard. I keep saying front end. I kind of mean dashboard, but that's what we call front end internally. But the dashboard is what it's called externally. Anyway, yeah, anyone interested in working on this, get in touch if you want to do some web dev. Kind of hardcore web dev of using like a kind of big boy framework, though this is not a framework being used for the sake of having a framework like a lot of web dev. Like we really do use Angular for Angular stuff we need it for, like really complicated forms, which Angular is excellent for. So if you want to do some of the more sort of kind of hardcore web dev where you need to know your styling and your basic stuff. I learned CSS Grid in the last few weeks. That's been fun. I still haven't worked with it yet. But if you want to do some of the more sort of hardcore, like lots of TypeScript, lots of kind of complicated functionality. We don't test that much, but it's other rest of it's hardcore. For the lack of testing, a lot of RSDS, like a reactive programming, a whole different fucking programming paradigm. Anyway, I really waffled on, but yeah, that's been a really fun, exciting month for me. And hopefully that will start to see the light of day soon. We still don't have our like playtest preview branch. We're working towards that. It's kind of me and Rio working from two ends of the same spaghetti.
Meeting up in the middle and then getting getting it to
having
a good enough point.
And having a kiss.
Yes.
Sorry, what is it? The Disney thing? Anyway, fuck Disney.
Lady in the
yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh,
So
anyway,
yeah.
But we will have that branch somewhat soon, and on that branch should be some of this map submission stuff. So that will be literally, you will be able to go on and start filling out this form, being like, I want to add my map to Momentum, and you can test that form out. And then at low 10, it will be live. You'll be able to port a map yourself, and it goes through review, all this complex process. Other people review it, all that stuff, and then it gets in the game. Like the map that's currently being played, all this leadable stuff, you'll be able to do like the main part of that at low 10.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, a very long section. But
no,
we have a bit more time in these
I mean,
Q&As
that's
now,
mainly
but...
been the brunt, right? We are still working towards 0.10.0, and this is a very public way to show it with Tom streaming, and we really, you know, and I saw it in the chat, right? Shout out to Tom for streaming the development process.
Thank you, Sammy.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing that to be able to share it with you guys, because that's what I used to do too. But with the license, we can't, right? We can't show Valve's code. So, but you know, internally, we've been doing a lot of great work with the C++ side of things, of getting ready for that, right? That marriage of C++ code to the back end work that Tom's been doing. So it's slow but steady, right? Like the development of Momentum is a slow and steady rolling ball, right? That I like to rolling ball, rolling stone, whatever, right? Like where it's not dead, it's not stopped, and it's very, you know, it can pick up at times, it can slow down at times, but overall, right, we're still making excellent progress. And you know, some of the work that like I've been doing, for example, I've been starting to pick up smaller tasks like code wise, because a lot of what I do as project and development lead is I tend to review and make specs and do kind of more high level things, infrastructure related things. So like I don't have a lot of time to code, but when I do, I'm trying to pick up smaller bits and pieces for the engine, for Momentum. So that's really what I've been trying to do recently, is like try to balance that, like not just only reviewing code, but also doing some smaller bits as well. And everyone's working in their free time, so it really just depends, right? November and December tend to be a busier time because you're away from your, you know, you're maybe away from your home with family or whatever. So it's all understandable, and you know, hopefully everybody else understands as well that this is really just passion, and it's still going really well. Like it's not dying, it's not slowing down, we're not, you know, panicking or anything. It's really just a matter of like we're getting to, you know, our milestones that we have set out, and it's going to be awesome once we hit them, because it's all the pieces falling into place, less and less having to refactor or, you know, bigger systems to design or anything like that. And then you guys get to enjoy testing all of these features, seeing us play them and test them. And it's amazing. So cool.
Well, I just want to add that, like, I want to cut you some slack there. With like, you're saying that like you're doing more of the smaller issues, but a lot of that is just because you spent a crazy amount of time doing code review, and you've had all your like new job and stuff and whatnot this year, and like moving. Like with something like, you know, with a lot of the earlier Momentum stuff, because a lot of the code was lower quality, we kind of knew what we were doing less, and the standards weren't as high. Like it really shows. So like right now, I just like pick up a random new page on the front end. I look at like how it's been laid out, and I rewrite the entire thing because it's terrible, and because clearly one person did it, and then no one else looked at it and said like, maybe don't do this like nested ng if with the same condition on two different blocks. Don't do that. You know, like it's so.
There were sometimes there's some things like that where it was like I couldn't even fix it because we were like a week away from turning it in or something. So
it's just it's how it works. But with stuff like this where it's, I think it is really the case, especially with volunteer run stuff, where like if the quality is insufficiently high, like you spend your entire life rewriting stuff because you just. You do need, like, it's easy to say, like, oh, yeah, we spend too much time refactoring or whatever, but part of the reason you end up doing that is because the original stuff that you're refactoring just wasn't good enough. And so you have to kind of just accept that, okay, we need to write this stuff properly this time. We need to review it well, and it's going to take a long time. But if we don't do that, we're going to rewrite the same stuff again in 3 years' time. And it's kind of frustrating and makes us slower, but you kind of have to do it. You need that quality control. It's so essential.
Yeah. Yeah, so cool. We can move to our first asked question. I'm not sure, do you want to do the questions, Tom? Or
Matt, can you do it? I'm really tired.
Oh, Mac's currently playing.
I'm playing the video game.
But we can change.
I
can read it.
Okay, XV Man's got it. Awesome. All right.
Can you link me the document?
Oh, it's in general team. General team.
Okay.
Yep. And then we're on the first asked question.
I'm just reading it from the stream. Bloxel64 asks, what will the usage terms for strata source be? Will it be open source or only usable by the strata, momentum mod, and P2C teams?
Right. So yeah. So strata source is a collective of licensed devs. So it is all of the licensed projects that want to join it. Basically, the proof of joining it and using Strata is just having an NDA with Valve. Valve is completely okay with us sharing our fixes to the engine with each other, and sometimes even upstreaming it up to Valve. Though with CSGO now not on Source 1 anymore, I don't think they care anymore, so whatever. But yeah, it is Strata is used by pretty much everything, right? Like, so it's Momentum, P2CE. I think there's even a Portal 2, another Portal 2 game, Revolution, that just you might have seen the trailer. It's exploding on YouTube. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But that also uses Strata, and so it's these games that are just kind of like collaborating on this engine while also making our own games. And it's really nice because we have a lot of like coding standards. We have a lot of like help from like other licensed devs that have done things. We get like feature requests almost all the time of like different features that these people have done for their games and just putting it into the base engine, or like fixing something they found wrong with Valve's code. So it's really nice, and it's a really collaborative effort. The only downside is, it's only for licensed devs. You would have to go through Valve to get a license before you could even start to use Strata's code. Now, P2CE's goal is to be kind of like a modding platform, so like for Portal 2 mainly, but it is kind of trying to open up with like a scripting layer and things like that, whereas with Momentum we're focusing on our game modes that we want to support and like adding all the features and entities there, so we're not really like sandboxing our like all of our stuff. It's realistically a focused effort there. So there are different goals that some of the teams and stuff have, but a lot of it could be toggled, right? Some of the like internal work that I've done is like toggling, adding feature flags and stuff so that Momentum's compile has less and less in it that we have to worry about in the first place. But yeah, so it is when it comes to open sourcing it is up to Valve. Who knows, right? If Valve is okay with us open sourcing some parts of Strata, all of Strata in the future, I don't know, because with CSGO off of Source 1, the only Source 1 game left is really TF2, and I guess Counter-Strike Source.
Leaked a billion times, but the problem is, like, they probably wouldn't, and they probably wouldn't bother respond even if they did want to.
Right.
Like, it would be amazing if we could, and maybe, but like, getting through to Valve on this stuff is so hard that so
it's something that we're realistically going to consider after 1.0 when we have numbers and hype and everything behind us to be able to maybe help sway as like a, hey, we can maintain this, like we're serious about this, here's the numbers that we're pulling, like, having something other than like, hey, I know you licensed us and we didn't really deliver anything yet, can we open source it? Like that's a different view, right, that Valve will have towards us. So realistically, it won't be open source anytime soon, but we will try. We will genuinely try to open source. Like Hammer would be really cool, even to open source.
That's for sure. Hammer would be so nice. I mean,
the entire engine would be ideal.
Yeah. It's like, and there's bound to be a bunch of Source 1 and Source 2 as well, and like with Valve, like it would be amazing if we could. And so, but as Nick says, like getting stuff under our belt and getting a full release, I think is the most important thing.
The most important thing, considering
Hammer would be so nice. So it's just with the QT work, we will have really moved a lot of Hammer and changed a lot of stuff. A lot of Hammers is some of the worst code in the engine. It's probably the case with tooling in most engines, right? Like it's just quick and dirty a lot of the time. And so you could imagine why Valve wouldn't want people to see Hammer's source code because it's just so ugly.
Yeah.
But you know, with so much of our rewriting stuff going on and the cleanup,
right,
and the not being on like a UI system from
the
90s.
Yeah. MFC.
Yeah.
We're reporting the
but
QT.
I think the thing I just wanted to add is like if we had unlimited time, like doing more of a kind of SDK thing would be amazing. It's just we want to get actual games out. Like it's just like it's such an easy trap to fall into, and I think to some extent PDCE may be in danger of that sometimes. Of just like you put in your time like trying to make stuff that other devs use, which it kind of is PDC's like entire sort of like goal, which is fair. But you know then like what your like overall goal is can become quite hard to like get a super clear picture of. And you know, for us with Momentum, we want our game to be playable with a leaderable system that doesn't get wiped. And we can read 1.0, right? So we have like very concrete stuff to move towards. With something like an SDK, like you kind of lose that. There's also just the fact that a lot of people do really like Source 1, but it is still just Source 1. It's a pretty old engine at this point and doesn't have permissive licensing. And like if you're not doing mods of existing stuff, or you just really like Source, which a lot of people do because you know it's a childhood thing or whatever, or they're just weird, which a lot of them are. The Source community has a lot of weird people, but
we're luckily not.
You know, we're not.
We're luckily not.
We're not weird. We're not weird.
We're not weird at all.
But you know, like it's not the. Personally, I can't imagine wanting to work on SDK stuff myself because, it would be great to have it. Like, of course, we're very pro open source, and it's lovely working on. Like, I'm really lucky as one of the Momentum devs who gets to do the most open source stuff, basically, right? And I love the open source stuff. I love being able to stream it, and I love helping out new devs. It's a real shame that we don't really get to do that much with C++ side that much. I mean, C++ is a much harder language to teach as well, but like, you know, there is something really nice about being able to get like young new programmers who want like an open source project to contribute on and helping them out. I'm only saying this, by the way, to encourage new people to help out. No, no, seriously, it is really nice. And with Source, we kind of don't get that with the closed source stuff, but I don't know.
So yeah, it's give and take. A lot of the tools that we try to make, we try to open source if they're from scratch, but a lot of the things that we're touching that are Valve code, we can't. So
we do open source what we can. Like maybe some shader stuff in the future it'd be amazing if we could do that. Like we did our Pano stuff, right? Because there's basically nothing in there that's Valve code. I mean, there's some stuff that did kind of derive from it in like the XML or whatever, but you know, we should be fine there. And like it really is like our own stuff there. Well, so there's just not that many other systems when it comes to like the actual game engine, because everything just ties together and like everything has some reference to. Am I allowed to say the name of the function even?
No, I wouldn't.
I'm not allowed to say everything has.
Just saying safe. Thing. Yeah, don't not leak. Anything about the code. But
no, I was just saying. You know the function I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone changed their name to it.
Yes.
Oops.
Everything either, or re-implements it itself. I do just want to add. I don't know if you've got more to say, Nick, but of Strata, mmod, and PDCE, we've got another game that's actually coming out soon, which is Portal Revolution. Which is Stefan's game. Who's great and has been. I lose track. I don't think they're directly in our code base, right? But they're forked off of it and but also contribute some stuff back, I think. And I don't think we have all of Stefan's stuff actually. But anyway, it's looking really good, and it's been popping off on YouTube and stuff. We might play it on stream after it comes out. It's just a free Portal 2 mod that seems really solid. So we might I don't think it's co-op, right? But we might just one of us stream it and then yell at each other how to solve it.
Yeah.
Or we all do it and race. A blind race. That could be fun. But that's really cool to see that coming out. Which is a game, on Strata with.
All the
I
strata.
wonder if we should clean
tooling.
up the binary names before then, so it's not called chaos.exe.
I think you can make a game.exe. That's the goal, is to make it momentum.exe.
Yeah, that's what we've been wanting to
P2C.exe.
do, right? Yeah.
So we'll try to get it to that point. But yeah, yep, it's been yeah. There's a lot of cleanup stuff like that needs to happen before 1.0.
Yeah,
so it's just coming later, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're getting a good amount done. I mean, as Nick said, he's been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, exactly.
That
It's
build
really
earlier
just a
was
matter of
like,
timing.
oh, the caching on that build earlier was so good. It was like
29
like
seconds.
300 cache hits and like one miss, and it was like 29-second build.
Shouts to SC Cache. So, anyway, thank you, Bloxel, for this question. We'll move on to the next one. We could also move on to another map in game if we want to. How are you guys liking?
Can we play a good mode?
Oh yeah,
like Surf.
Ooh, Surf could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right, I'll move to the next question here. Thank you, Bloxel, for that question. And yeah, you guys pick a map, and I'll
Let's do Beyond, dude.
Beyond. All right.
Air pogoing is friggin' hard, dude. I've never played that map before.
Yeah.
I like.
Have you seen the product of me like going a bit insane recently, Nick, in the map selector?
I have not. I don't think I.
Did you? I don't think you've updated your map cache. Hit like enter in the search bar.
Oh my.
Like clear your filters.
Okay.
And then
DF map. Oh my god, Grimace is here. Grimace has come in. Oh wait, why did Hex do this? I'm gonna have to talk
it's
to
all
Hex.
Hex's fault.
check it out. Check it out.
The map? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's a map.
Let's check it out. Is it the test one with like all the the flat one with the zones? No. Yeah.
I was showing off the new map submission thing as I was streaming, and I was showing the old map submission thing.
Oh my god.
I was just like, you know what? In a moment of like insanity, I just approved.
That's so good. Yeah, it's
So,
it's true.
This is all going away.
Suck. It's a lot of work. So yeah.
I made that one as well. It's only gone worse.
All right. All right, so we'll get some surf gameplay here. Oh, pause there.
This is a wonderful map.
Yes,
this is a Granite map.
Don't watch me. Watch Xbox, man. I'm terrible at surf.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. There we go.
XP's name. XP, did you change your name?
Yeah, it's fine on stream, but if
because you have like a nickname or whatever.
Yeah, I said a nickname, so Steam just defaults to giving that.
Okay.
Cool.
XP has some of the funniest Steam names.
We are ready for the next question here. Let's see.
All right, so Rixarlin. Oh no, I'm gonna choke my run doing this. Rixarlin has the process of getting a new team member engine license been easier because of the release of CS2? Was it relatively quick for them to get a license?
No, actually. So we are on really good terms with Valve to where we have a direct way to we have a pipeline effectively to license someone. So it really is up to Valve, because again, they have to co-sign the NDA in order for them to actually be fully NDA'd. Otherwise, it's not really legally binding or anything. But they've been relatively quick. For the example for Game Chaos, when we got that confirmed, it was roughly like 3 days, I think, from submitting the request for it to actually getting fully co-signed and on. It is much nicer than it used to be. I think BLT took 6 months or no. It was ridiculous back in the day. But it's been relatively painless, and it's really nice. And I
don't think we can say the specific mechanism we do it, but it's incredibly simple.
No, it's incredibly simple.
If you've done NDAs for, you've probably done it basically the same way that we do.
Or any legal signing thing.
Yeah.
But it's
nice.
That
company has 5,000 employees. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know that?
Wait, Valve?
Yeah. No, the company that they use for the thing.
Oh, what the?
I think we can say. I mean, I don't think it matters. DocuSign.
Yeah,
DocuSign has 5,000 employees.
I didn't know that. Why?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
That's weird. I wouldn't have guessed. That's a very big company for. Huh. I mean, I guess they have other products. Anyway,
Apparently it's legal stuff or something, but like 5,000? What?
Yeah, it's a little odd, but it's pigeon mail. We
Insane.
actually mail a letter. No, if
No.
only, right? That's how it used to be. Probably,
But
right?
with Valve legal stuff, like, yeah, Valve, we're very happy to like tell Valve we don't have to say that much in terms of just licensing a new person, but given that like we make a real effort with like anyone that we do bring on as a licensee, like we usually have existing contributions from them already in an open source thing, or they did stuff when before the game went closed source.
Or they are
And
very
yeah.
knowledgeable in their domains and have proof of
Yeah,
that.
and we know them from the community. So if someone like
Yeah.
Game Chaos, we've had a few contributors from Game Chaos in the past, but also yeah, super knowledgeable, but also just like has been around on the Discord for ages and is clearly just like a chill person, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
KZ is in
and
good
we
hands.
yeah, and so we're always very happy to give. I don't think we had to in a while. I think we did at one point, you know, just give out like a rundown of like everyone we've got, what we're working on.
Yeah.
But also, you know, just in all of our like public stuff, I've been swearing on the stream quite a bit, but generally we maintain, you know, a veneer at least of professionalism and try to come across as a pretty sane project full of sensible people. So hopefully, you know, not that Valve really do look into us that much. I think for the most part they just try to not pay any attention to any modding stuff. But
Right.
we're always like, you know, very happy to give them whatever info they need and, you know, not be as weird as the rest of the Source community. I don't know.
Yeah, just don't look at the Discord soundboard thing. You know, that's where all
Yeah.
the
What do you
madness
mean?
gets congregated.
What do you mean?
It's not cool, Dave. It's shit.
Yeah, if you have Nitro, enjoy our soundboard and other servers. But yeah, it's nice. It's very nice having this pipeline and seeing the speed that at which these people that we at Valve have contact with get back to us, and it's nice. Now when it comes to like general questions about Source, that takes longer. That can take weeks or maybe even fall through the cracks. But when it comes to NDAing and getting a legal response for things, it's very quick, and we're very thankful for Valve. Yeah.
And there's not that much in their interest for us, them doing open source licensing, not all the closed source licensing stuff, right? It does take them time. It's lawyers who are have very high salaries, you know, have to co-sign the stuff or whatever, you know, legal count, whatever. Like the fact they do bother with that at all is really appreciated. So honestly, for us, it's pretty good. For new projects, of course, it's super hard, and I don't think we're ever that interested in that stuff. But yeah, we're very appreciative of them, you know, co-signing at least and doing that stuff.
Nice, yeah. So hopefully that answers that question. Thank you, Rixarlin, for this. CS2 has no bearing on it.
No.
Yeah. So cool. All right. Next question.
All right. Mr. Burgers asks, map review seems like an opportunity to standardize things across map. One second. What level has that? What level has that been considered, and would it be held the same way for ported maps, e.g., fail teleports, resetting speed, using momentum entities, etc.? I failed my run for that.
Good, yeah. So we're gonna have more info on this soon. We have a bunch of documents we know we're gonna have to write soon that we've not written yet. Our doc site will be updated a lot. The main thing we've been doing in the last couple of months, this has been a really good thing for devs who have had a bit less like time to contribute, but can just pick, you know, a couple of hours a week or whatever. We've done this like internal just entity refactor. I don't know if it's public, but there's, you know, a GitHub milestone thingy of about, I don't know, a dozen or so. It's like 18 or something, like entities we've just been refactoring, where we've written specs for that, and it's been pretty easy changes. I think most of that's complete now. Some of the bigger ones have been done in the last months, I think, like the teleport refactor stuff that Lumia was working on. You know, one to work sort of respecking that, trying to clean up the stuff. Like Rio has this like hilarious like flow chart sitting around somewhere of like the whole of the trigger teleport options, of like all the different ways you can like reset a player's velocity or whatever, and how complicated it is. It's ludicrous. So I've not followed that stuff super closely personally, but like I know that stuff has been getting refactored and cleaned up a bunch. So yeah, trying to standardize stuff a fair bit. And then of course with Lumper, doing those like automated or manual changes to like entity properties and stuff should be a lot easier. Obviously there's NSpy for that as well, but Lumper can do that, and it's more modern UI and it looks better. No, there is other stuff in Lumper as well that is really nice.
Does NSpy actually work with our BSP version?
Probably not, actually.
Yeah.
Good try.
Yeah, no, I think we'd have to patch it. But lumpers
Yeah,
effectively are and spy,
Exactly,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. Lumber needs
um,
some work, but it's getting along.
yeah.
Yeah. Then yes, some of the stuff on our Discord forum. There's some entity refactor stuff. I think that was like a sort of we did discuss that stuff internally a lot, and then did a public post about it. I don't know if that post was written before or after this question was submitted, but where is it? It's on there somewhere. You can find it. I don't know if it's pinned in the feedback forum. Yeah.
Yeah.
So stuff there.
This is the first one.
Oh yeah,
me,
and
but yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's been up for ages. Never mind. That's been up since
Yeah.
like September, October, August.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, a lot of that's been ticking along. We've actually been doing a lot of those changes. And then a big thing for this, when it comes to porting, is just documentation, which we've done some. We started sort of that somewhat, but we'll be doing a lot more of that soon. I think it's mainly just getting the stuff finalized. But we're going to be on at the tight rotors pretty soon. Just for porting, especially if it's porting stuff that like shouldn't need that much work, just porting like a CSS surf map or whatever. We want to keep that as simple as possible, especially because a lot of that time that porting will be done by someone who is not the author of the map, and so you don't ideally, assuming you don't have to, you don't decompile, you just use lumper, just edit the BSP a little bit, and you make as few changes as you need to, and you just get in and out as fast as you can. Simplest porting what you can, just because you don't want to alter the map very much. And in some cases, there'll barely be any altering. But with some systems like the sound stuff, I'm not exactly sure. We might do some of the existing sound stuff. We might keep working, but in some cases, we do want to, if for map like music files and stuff, we want to have a system for that that's a lot easier. I'm losing track. I think we did have an idea for Rio came up with an idea for how we were going to do music detection that wouldn't require like folder re-layouting or whatever, but I don't think that's fully decided yet. But stuff like that, where like we want to have a sensible way for a mapper to say that like this audio file is playing like background music, and so it can be affected by the background or the music slider in game, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like current maps where if you played the playtest, you probably found things like Bhop Lego 2 and stuff just have annoying background music you can't turn off.
Right.
So obviously that's something we want to standardize and have our sliders impact that, but not do that in a way that's going to like break the maps in other games or whatever, or silly stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we are making these changes, we are going to effectively be creating a finalized momentum version of a map, though. And realistically, right, like these tweaks and things, like these entities that we're changing to, right, using momentum entities.
True,
that does break it for backwards compatibility, even if we don't change BSP version, just because the entity doesn't exist in CSS, CSGO, whatever, or But
in some cases you don't need the momentum custom.
Yeah, right, and that's what we're realizing a lot with a lot of the momentum entities that we're refactoring is a lot of it's just removal because like we can do it with a base entity or like kind of like incorporate maybe some of that into the base entity too. So yeah, there are levels to that, right? Where it's like we will be going map by map. We will have a map checklist that will be public on our blog. Our blog, we'll talk about it, but our documentation site, right? Like a checklist that you can go through, maybe even integrated into the like map testing feedback kind of like form, right? So that like before you click the hey, ready for final review, you have your checklist to go through. But that is effectively our grading, right? Our rubric that we're going to be going through when we look at your map. And that's really nice to have in the hands of the mapper because you have all the, it's not a ton of back and forth. It's you have it up front and can fix things before they even become a problem for us.
Exactly.
And then when it comes to map porting, right, like maps where the mapper is probably not going to submit the map to the site because they're not around anymore, we will probably be taking more of a freedom there to fix up the map to make it use momentum entities, properly reset speed and stuff. So we want to, again, have the more optimized version of the map for momentum. We don't want to have like a weird, like, make this work on CSS as well sort of map, right? We want to make sure that we have the most optimized version of it. So, but yeah, we will absolutely make all these like changes that we consider and do public and part of that like checklist. right? We'll have a map porting checklist. We'll have, a general map like upload and submission guideline checklist, right? Of like making sure that you're doing things properly. But yeah, and then we also just have map review after all of that, after you go through the checklist. So it's definitely more involved, but it is that opportunity to standardize that's really, really exciting, right? Because it's a fresh slate leaderboard wise and gameplay wise, right? Like it's completely just fresh at 1.0. So we have until 1.0 to iron out that checklist and see what things work, what doesn't, if we need to tweak any entities, if we need to add any entities or anything, if there's anything in that checklist that's like questionable or whatever. We have plenty of time, but that's why 0.10 is the most exciting update probably until 1.0, because it's adding so much and it's going to be really focusing on all of this. That's going to be it's going to lead to just a much better map ecosystem, I think, than just Steam Workshop, which doesn't have any moderation at all, really, and then versus the super fine-tuned, hey, one person can add this map sort of setup like a server. So, yeah, it's a nice middle ground there. So, but yeah. Was there anything else for this question?
The one thing I just want to add.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. The BSPs can be compressed. I think most people know this. Maybe some don't. But the reason some BSP files are super large is they're just not compressed at all. And there's a lot of data that compresses very well and can be decompressed at basically disk read speed, right?
Yep.
It's like pretty fast to decompress. So there's no real benefit in not compressing it. But a lot of maps just aren't compressed. So if you have like 100 megabyte BSP, you can often compress that down to about 15. It kind of depends on what's in there. Sometimes if the data in there is like the pack clump, and that could be already compressed. Right. But a lot of the time you'll have like a lot of light map stuff, I think. Or are light maps go into pack clump? I can't remember.
I don't think they're a different lump, I think.
They're different, yeah.
Yeah. And quite a lot of data that can compress very, very well and isn't. So, I had a map the other day that someone had sent me just to playtest at one point. So I don't think it was like a final compile, so it may have gone down more in the future, but it was about 100 megabytes or 120 megabytes, and then BSP zip I think brought it down to like 8.
Yeah.
It's
ridiculous. So, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Which is something that, so obviously you should do that. Again, there's no real downside to it. The deflate, which is what the zip uses, decompresses extremely efficiently. It's essentially the speed that, I don't know about SSDs actually and NVMe's, but like it's basically the speed you can read from disks. There's very little, it's a bit more CPU, but whatever. It's pretty damn fast. So you really might as well just compress it. And so what we're doing,
CSGO doesn't have BSP zip, so one of my maps.
Oh my god!
One of my maps is like it's 98 megabytes on CSS and then 200 megabytes in CSGO because it uses TF2 assets.
Oh man,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so one thing that we are standardizing, or not just standardizing, but we're enforcing, is you have to BSP zip your map.
Yes.
This is not just for like the sake of our server like hosting costs, so it does cost us more money to store stuff, and will in the future. But just because of people's like disk size, like people often have enormous map folders, and in many cases, people's map folders will probably be about, I don't know, a quarter of the size on average, maybe, if like everything was compressed. At least in CSGO, like it probably goes down way more than that, right? If don't have BSP at all. So actually, what we do in the front end, even I wrote a thing that reads in JavaScript that reads the BSP header, just the header, which is enough to tell if the thing's be compressed. So the moment you like add a map to the thing in the front end, it will instantly like yell at you if it's not compressed. And so we'll have good documentation for how to do that. Lumper can do it, I think already. CompilePal can do it. We could add it as a step at the end of the thing in Hammer. I think you can do it as like a launch thing or whatever in Hammer, like the expert dialogue, whatever.
Make it.
Yeah. So we'll have so we'll have tutorials and stuff for running BSP zip, but it's going to be enforced. So every map in Momentum, if Lumper can't do it already, we'll add it. I don't think it's super hard to do. Okay. Yeah, but we'll get that in for 1.0 for 0.10. Sorry, for Lumper, which we'll try to.
Yeah.
Because obviously super important, but not just for our sake and our finances, but because it makes
nobody wants to be downloading a map for 10 minutes.
Yeah, and the download's way faster. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's something that is not just standardized but enforced. Like we will not accept a map that's not BSP. That the front end and the back end will both reject it if it's not zipped, which is really cool. I really like how it was so much fun writing that. It took like an evening, read the header and check the offsets or whatever. It's great fun.
Oh yeah.
the other thing I wanted to mention was that for like mappers, like it's important for our game to be able to support like CSS and CSGO versions of maps, but when you're making a map, you don't have to worry about doing that. Like you can make your own momentum version once it's on the when it's on like the website backend. There's not going to be any file conflicts with CSS versions or anything.
Right. Yeah.
So like if you're gonna modify it to fit better with the game, you don't have to worry about making the CSS version like work the same way. You can just have two separate versions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully that was helpful, Mr. Burgers. But yeah, we'll we'll move on to the next question here.
Next question and next map.
Yeah, next map.
Yeah.
Yep. Which map we want to go to?
Fries?
You could do some fries.
Fries. That's map.
Yeah, we should
hungry.
move on to Ahop. Yeah.
And also, yeah, hopefully we're not going to have a release date for 010 as we, but in Dekios also the map, but soon-ish, TM, we will have map submission as we've been talking about, and therefore we'll have way more maps to play in like these Q&As and stuff. Because like right now the map select is obviously very limited in what we add because we don't tend to add stuff to like just play for fun unless I get really bored.
What the fuck? Why do you have a sticky launcher?
It just feels nice in my hands.
Oh, you just equip it, or okay?
Did you change the model or something?
No,
No, I'm kidding. I don't know what I've done. I don't have it on my screen.
Yeah,
It looks great.
Very weird. Yeah, no, you have it. All right, well, you're
It's
sticky
for
jumping now.
It's comfort.
Well, okay. All right.
Oh god, what am I doing? Don't
All
watch
right.
me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Sorry. Let's actually.
This wasn't good.
I don't have.
I'm gonna go spec. I can't be asked with this.
I don't have anything bound to sprint, so this is not my map.
Yeah. Oh, Nathan's good. Nathan's really good.
All right.
Cool, look at
So 1 second.
But yeah, new maps
All right.
coming soonish.
JTeddy asks, with maps being mostly off of the community and older maps using textures based on CSS and TF2, will there be textures readily available without needing other games' assets?
So wish we had like a really good answer to this, but we still don't.
We have like the missing texture system where it just takes the luminosity and colors the brush according to that and the lighting. But we don't have replacement. We don't have replacement textures set up yet.
Yeah, it basically
It's
just makes
really
the
hard
map
to
look like
do.
colored
Like,
dev textures. It really doesn't look too bad with our replacement.
it is still like clearly missing, which is a shame.
It
And
will
I
have-
mean, if you're playing Momentum a lot, just download TF2 at least. And but obviously CS stuff is annoying now, especially with the new things. What is Nathan doing? This is insane to watch.
But yeah, if you don't want to download TF2, we will have like warnings on the map selector in the future that you're missing
I've not actually
textures for certain
added
maps
that
and
yet.
whatnot.
I should do that in map submission.
Yeah.
Just detect it and do that retroactively after I
So
can.
yeah, if you don't want to install TF2, you can just avoid the maps that use TF2 assets or whatever.
You can also
maybe mappers could like bundle the assets they use from other games into their BSP.
No, we really want to avoid that.
We currently strip them out of maps on map submission when we know that they're ports.
Yeah.
Like that's been done with a few of the CSS versions of TF2 maps.
Yeah.
Server hosts can get away with it, right? And Game Banana or whatever. And in fact, like Valve probably wouldn't care if we did it. But like, it is still just a copyright violation. Like, it's just stuff.
More file size for no reason.
And it's more file size for us, yeah. But it is also just content that the mapper doesn't own, that they legally don't have the rights to be shipping. Again, Valve probably don't care, but like.
Yeah. It's just like a bigger risk for us because we're hosting these BSPs on our website.
Yeah.
And that's the same reason why we can't host bundle them with our game too.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not ours to ship. A good way of thinking about this, right? Is Gmod could never do this. Gmod is was like an enormous game, or still is. People still play Gmod a lot, I think. But like, you know, Gmod has always had this issue of like, you know, you need CSS or whatever, and Gmod never had like a way of just getting around it. They just never did.
Yeah.
Like Gmod is enormous and made a shitload of money, right?
Right.
And so, you know, maybe Valve would be more relaxed about stuff now, but like it would probably be really hard to get through to them on this. It would be amazing to just have replacement texture packs, but using AI for that stuff is really sketchy, and you know it takes time to make textures. You can maybe look to something like Polyhaven for a lot of stuff, where you could try and make replacement packs using that stuff, but it's hard actually. Like I guess like what's it called? There's that one site that has a lot of really good like replacement stuff. So you could take those. I think those are very permissively licensed. You could maybe take those and edit it. So there probably is a way of doing it, like just whole replacement texture packs. But it's just ultimately a lot of work for someone, and no one on the team has done that. If anyone is interested in doing that, that's watching, wants something that's like a really important way to contribute to momentum, that's not like programming. You don't necessarily even know that much about like texture stuff. You could learn it and you know just Photoshop or GIMP or whatever and work with a lot of existing stuff. There's definitely a lot of potential there. But do keep in mind with textures, the textures are more than just like single images. With Source, it's typically just that in a normal map, to be fair, and the normal map doesn't actually do that much, but sometimes you get specular and whatnot. Generally, there's some
Right.
spec.
We'd
be very, very interested in doing replacements, but...
Yeah. The replacement system, there's the asset atlas too that we could talk about more. But
isn't a solution to that.
I really want to write a blog post about the ideas there, but and
Asset
then
atlas
I
isn't a
wanted
solution
to
to that, though.
comment on that last part of the question. Will there be textures readily available without needing? I think maybe the question might have been maps readily available, because textures readily available makes it sound like we're shipping it with textures, which we will. We will actually ship the game with some common texture packs that mappers use, just so that the game already
Plus,
has
we get
it.
Half-Life 2 textures just because we're a Source game, and every Source game has Half-Life 2 textures.
Yeah, we're allowed to get the Half-Life 2 textures for free as well. So if maps use those, but we will have maps that don't need other game assets. There's people that make completely custom maps with completely custom textures and stuff. We will have those as well. We also, I wanted to point out, when you upload a map, if we'll have some automated system that tells the backend what games, what assets, right, like your map uses from which games, right? So if you need TF2 installed, if you need CSS installed to have the most optimum experience, we will figure out a way to kind of convey that information before you play the map. But that's a system for later. It's not really important right now.
It's pretty easy to write, actually. So
yeah, right. Yeah, if you want to add it real quick, absolutely. But yeah, there's definitely a the legal concern around including assets has always been a thing for us of like, we don't want to piss off any copyright holders, but at the same time there's a level of copyright transformation that becomes fair use, right? So for maps like Surf Simpsons or Surf Minecraft or whatever, right, like there's technically enough fair use there to say like this is a reinterpreted
Minecraft
way.
I'm not sure about. I think in some cases with Minecraft they do just use the Minecraft.
Yeah,
the one thing with Minecraft is you get Minecraft texture packs, so there likely are some versions there that could be used.
Right.
I expect what we would end up doing is not include the official Minecraft textures, because as far as I know, there's one texture pack for Source that is just directly ripped off. Like stealing Minecraft textures is like the easiest thing in the world. Like it's so easy. I'm sure that did you get JS exception? Well, I did. But if we take an existing pack and then just include that on Steam, we'd get one that we have permission to ourselves to ship on Steam.
Yeah.
And give those the names of those files that the like Minecraft texture pack that all the like existing maps use. We just don't include that in the pack line, but we have it on Steam, then it should work fine.
Right. Yeah. We ship it with the game. Yeah.
It's kind of important to distinguish that a map like Minecraft or a map that has like copyrighted content packed into it That's something that we can solve by just taking the map down if the copyright holder notifies us.
Yes.
But
yeah.
if we were shipping the content with the game, or if we were putting, like TF2 textures into every single map we have on the selector, and then we get a notice about that, that's like the entire game we have to figure out.
Right.
But with Valve stuff, like, we need to think about that stuff beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, it's just silly to, like, we can't just, like, ship TF2 stuff and then if Valve complains, oh, sorry, we didn't realize it was bad, and then pretend we didn't know that it was a problem.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Like, it's not that we don't want it in our game, it's just that we want to be careful with it, because we realistically want to approach it kind of like how YouTube or other platforms do, where it's kind of more like we're assuming that you have permission to, so we'll add it because we are processing every map that goes through our pipeline. It's not a Wild West, it's more curated, but we're going to assume that the things that you're putting in your map you have permission to, and if it ends up not being the case, then we just disable the map, right, until we figure out a resolution that works, where you either update the map to not have the textures, you come to some resolution with the copyright holder of like having permission or something. There's ways around it, but what's nice is that we don't have to just strip and delete the map and like forget about it forever. We just like toggle it off of like public, so like people will still have it locally, like we won't be able to enforce deleting it, right, but like we could have it like not show up in the map selector while that's being figured out. It's a really cool system there, at least. Hopefully we never have to use it, right? But it is a really nice way to handle that, so that we don't lose runs, we don't lose the map, right? Like it's all there. It's just like we update the file and then reinstate it, and it'll be fine, hopefully. Yeah, like again, you can't really be sued by naming something like your map Simpsons or what, right? Like it's theme, right? It's topical. Otherwise, everyone would be sued by talking about The Simpsons. But like, yeah, like it just really is going to be a case by case basis there, where ideally, right, like we just don't really have a problem there, because it's fair use in a lot of the ways of like transformative media, right? Like it's not the show The Simpsons. You're playing something that resembles being in the Simpsons universe. Yeah. Right, which is completely fair to create. So I'm not a lawyer. That's not legal advice. Just want to protect myself from any future clips or whatever. But yeah, when it comes to legality stuff, we're really just going to err on the side of like, you have permission to put this here. Same thing goes for like if a map was originally just for one server or something, right? For map, we could technically add that map, but like if the mapper comes back and it's like, hey, this map was like very specifically only for this, can you please take it down? We're going to honor that request, right? We're going to disable the map there. So it's not just copyright stuff, but yeah, and then when it comes to like quality of things, right, like programmer art or like using assets from like an in development game or something that you have permission to, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, if you have permission, perfect. Like that won't be a problem. Again, it will only be a problem if we get a legal notification of any kind that like is like, hey, this is copyright content, like this is from this property, please disable this or take it down. We'll deal with it then mainly, but we're just going to assume in good faith that you have permission to make the map that you're making, so, and upload the map that you're uploading. Yeah, so
there is also one thing about it, like speaking about TF2, it is free, so if you don't have the textures of TF2, you can just like download TF2, you have textures of TF2, you can play map easily. At the same time, CSS is paid, as I remember, so
it goes really
what
cheap
will we
on
do
Steam
about that?
sales. It goes really cheap on Steam sales. We actually urge people to wait for a Steam sale and buy it, because the other thing to note, and we'll make sure this is pretty clear, is that you actually have to spend at least $5 of your own money on Steam in order to submit runs to Momentum, like the leaderboards. That's just
so we don't.
Well, to make an account.
So only like
you can still like download maps and play the game. It just won't save anything because you aren't a valid account.
I'll have to change that then.
Oh shit! Okay, you have
The
it.
backend has never been like that. There's not other backend works.
Oh,
the old
okay.
backend and the new one. We just don't allow.
Oh
sign-up.
yeah, I remember actually. We used to get people all the time on new accounts being like, "Why can't I see any maps?" 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
Oh
that's-
wait,
not
maybe
affecting
we
the
do.
website.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just the backend. The way it works. You auth, you log in, and then the backend gets the stuff, and it's like if you're not a thing account, it just kills you.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably have a read-only mode or something for accounts in that case, where you can like play a map or whatever, but like not interact with the community, right?
We could,
Like,
but yeah, no. If we want to do that, we could.
Yeah. I mean, we'll also probably
yeah.
auto mute you too in lobbies or something. Like we'll probably like lock off a
Oh,
lot
good
of the
shout.
account, right? If you're a new
Yeah.
account, but it'll be like read only, right? Like you can play the game still and enjoy the game, but if you pay $5, which we recommend buying CSS when it's on sale, or I mean, it's everything else is free. It kind of sucks that CSS is the only holdout.
Yeah,
CS:GO was free.
That is
but,
one of
like,
the things. Look, if you want to get
CS2.
involved in Momentum, please just make us CSS replacement textures.
Yes.
Please, please.
You'd actually even help out the Gmod community if you did that too. So
I believe.
I know Gmod
Well,
is the same thing.
yeah, for Gmod they also have the workaround of just downloading the CSS like server client.
Yeah, the
and just getting the textures there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that. It's just we don't recommend that in our docs because it's really sketch. Like,
yeah, it is sketchy. It's just like,
like-
if someone was desperate to not spend like $2 on CSS. That's
Yeah, but I think there's
they could do.
sites that let you just host it all.
Yeah,
Like, I think those exist. Like,
But it's
There are like people like CSS like for some Gmod servers. You can just download CSS content from workshop. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's in the workshop probably. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like Valve, if they cared, would like scan for this kind of stuff or whatever. But like realistically, in our case, we're really just trying to uphold a positive image that we are making best faith effort, and also just a matter of like we don't want to be packing CSS content into every map and then having that distribute and then like it just saves a ton of space and time if what we do is we end up having the game just mount it, and then on top of that we can know what assets are used in maps and then optimize which assets are pulled. Like we could repack the VPKs to be just the things we need from TF2 CSS, so that could even further reduce, because like we don't need a hostage model, for example, right? Like we don't have that game, but we don't need the bomb model or sounds or anything. So it's like we could like optimize the VPKs there using either a script or something like that, so that you have your asset, your source VPKs, and then you optimize them down to what Momentum really just needs from these games, and then you're set there, right? And so like that's another avenue, and this is all part of this asset atlas blog post I've been meaning to write, because it's such a grandiose idea, but it would work really, I think, really well to get to the point where we have like maps effectively just be the geometry and like custom things in a map, right? Of BSP data being BSP is basically not really going over like maybe 25 megabytes because it's just really rudimentary data, and then everything else is a manifest.
well, the light maps take up a fair bit, right?
Right, but we'd probably compress those, and like we'd see like what BSP v26 would be.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
but it's exciting because there's just a lot of opportunity there for what we have access to with the engine and just optimizing our map loading. And I mean, yeah, it'll be its own BSP format and stuff. We wouldn't want to.
I mean, in a way, like asset atlas, you could do in a way that's really not that much work, right? Like you don't even necessarily need like a database corresponding to every like file. You just store it all in some like relative path in S3 or whatever.
Yeah,
but like
right.
But yeah, I don't
you
know.
need a manifest file for each map, and that needs to be stored somewhere. So database would probably store a JSON blob or something of that. But like, yeah, it's
JSON B.
JSON B.
No, that would be pretty easy. It's just
yeah.
If someone wants like a really big backend project to work on that's not going to like block anything else, they can just work on that for like a year.
The
on
Asset
that.
Atlas is, I mean, it's
fun one.
Relatively simple. The main effort's going to be the BSP side of things, and that's closed source. But like having a system that can strip BSPs, note them down, check, and then that's your manifest file, and then you have a repository side of things where like all assets get dumped into, and then you also cross-reference that with like mounted assets, like if it's CSS stuff or TF2 stuff, then we don't upload it. We just use local file. Like it's a whole system that would just be like basically streamlining like a lot of assets, and then you could open that repository of assets up to mappers and have it integrate with Hammer, and there you go. You have a very community-oriented like setup. You could see, you know, assets that are used in different maps, and most common assets for maps that people are more likely to have, and then, you know, it's cool. But that is way down the line. I want to write a whole blog post about it. Sorry, I keep teasing that, but it
honestly would be like really fun. Quite honestly, not that big a project. It's quite easy.
After
you don't have to do much
it could be something we talk about doing if you want to do more web, like kind of.
I have a billion things I could work on. I don't want to do Atlas. True. Like it's like I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. It saves on files storage, but not that much else. Like it is a nice idea, but it's something that really would be good for another contributor who wanted to like really get their teeth stuck into something, because it's a lot of it is like you're not actually open
source. Yeah.
But it's also that you don't have to learn that many frameworks or anything but work like that. You want to do... We'll be inserting some stuff into Postgres, but not that much. You can do that with Prisma, or you can do it with a query builder, as we'll be doing in the future, because Prisma sucks! Sorry. But also, it'd be... Half of it would just be writing a TypeScript BSP parser, which exists already. There's that NoClip site, but also you can just rewrite Lumper in C#. Or take the C# stuff. Half of that comes from BSP source, which... Like half of the Lumper stuff I just took from BSP source, just converting Java to C#. Right. Doing that to TypeScript, easy. Like, and doing that Node, easy.
It is.
It doesn't have a nice binary reader thing. Oh, you done one?
yeah. Like the small one. I wanted to like draw BSPs like in 3GS. I kind of did it, but it worked. It worked horribly. I couldn't do it properly. I don't know why.
But drawing the BSP, that's hard, because you're getting into like the more complicated lumps there. Well, none
of
the lumps
so like you need to like properly understand normals, and you have to like properly triangulate your like.
That's the hard stuff. With this, you don't need to do any of that. It's literally just you read. Or a simple version is you just read the pack lump, and then a more complex version is you do check like the text data lumps for that it's actually being used. But both of those things are easy. Yeah. So like it wouldn't be that hard. So
it just needs spec, and it needs written about. I think blog post plus spec is what I'll probably do and drop, and then if anyone wants to work on that, they can. It's just going to be something we plan to do eventually.
Spec writes itself. That's really fun for us to do.
Like hopefully even before 1.0, because that way all of the new maps that get added follow this pipeline. But like we'll see. It's not 0.10 required at all, but it is something very exciting for the prospect of what Momentum is and supports. So cool. Okay, we spent a lot of time on JTeddy's question. Let's keep moving. Thank you, JTeddy, for this. We'll move on to the next one here.
Let's chase blank onto Bhop as well.
Oh yeah.
Monotonous.
Bhop monotonous.
All right. So the next question is by disres. It's, any updates on getting crashforts source video render working natively with Momentum?
How complicated is source video render itself? Is there that much in it, or would we use it, or would we just do it our own? Because with Engine, does it make that much sense even to use that? Maybe refer to it, assuming it's permissive license. If it's GPL, I'll kill crashfort, but
I'm just curious. Can you load the record or like the demo of your like play into the SFM?
No.
Into source, yeah.
What, replays?
Replay.
No. Replays are a custom format that we.
Replays are ours. Also, we're rewriting it. So.
Demos, maybe. I think demos you can. That's how Valve start a lot of their like cinematics. But like,
I seem to remember our demos are really laggy for one reason or another. Though I don't really know why.
Our replay format is way simpler. Like our replays are super simple, right? They're just.
Yeah. So it really just depends on free time there. 011 is the replay refactor. It would probably get in around there. So it's not anytime soon right now, but yeah, it is. it is a nice feature to have, right? To have it directly integrated to where it's just a button you press, right? And then it records it all out, and then you have your file you can go and check out. So that is the level of integration we're going to get, is like first party integration with it. But it does need to be like properly integrated. So we might need to make changes to the interface as well. We'll see what license the code might have there. We'll see if crashfort is still interested in helping out as well. We can work directly with crashfort. But yeah, we would love to. It's still planned. It's just not until probably 11, just because of the amount of capacity we have and everything. It'd be cool, right? Like if we could have some sort of way to get like community feedback as to like, oh, like I have some capacity. What's a feature everybody or bug or whatever that everybody's hitting or deals with or wants, right? Like that would be really cool to have like that kind of feedback on like our GitHub, but that it's really hard to gauge. I mean, we do have our crash reporting, so we can see very quickly like what crashes are happening to everyone. But like when it comes to like features or bugs or something like that, it's hard to gauge how much it impacts everybody because we have a limited subset of playtesters right now. So it's but I would say that this ideally 11. So there's no updates right now. We haven't really thought about anything other than 010 when it comes to development yet. But we will absolutely, right? We'll have more capacity. We'll be able to just kind of get more and more like systems and stuff designed in so a lot of UI mockups that Traz is gonna have to probably tweak and do. So
does source demo render like just render the run source headless or?
No, it hooks into the render loop and then just writes out a video file. It's kind of what the record.
You need like source like rendering and everything
movie.
and like windows and stuff. Okay.
It's effectively
It's
what
like
start
corrupt.
movie it does in the engine, but it's external,
Okay.
so it can
But
run better and do.
But do you need to actually have like source running with like the full window and whatnot, or can it run headlessly?
That's a good question, actually.
What would be super nice is just a command line tool that just takes like
a replay and
replay, and just it's fully headless and whatnot.
But where would it output the frame?
Into memory instead of the screen.
I mean, if our version source would need to run for that, right? But we can like not actually like output it to the monitor or whatever, right?
Right, not a window.
But you need
just go to memory. And capture it.
I don't know how annoying that would be for us to input, but that sounds really nice, right? To be able to do. This just comes from I do a lot of front end work and stuff, and it's always running like Chrome and stuff headlessly is like an incredibly powerful tool. Like if you want to auto generate images, one of the best ways of doing it, headless like Chromium.
Yeah.
Something like that would be awesome. In fact, like I think the thumbnail for this video on YouTube or whatever will be. Oh no, that's the update ones.
Sub-tick timer would also be 010. I think it's already in.
I don't think so.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
I'll
Rodios, I guess. Just to go back. So Rodios, timer for spectator. I think we have that. I think we are networking the timer differently now, such that we have that. I could be wrong.
Okay.
A lot of the time has been rewritten, and I know Rio has been keeping questions in that vicinity in mind. So I would guess that the answer is yes. I could be wrong. Subtick. Again, that's a Rio question because Rio's the guy that's been like really getting his hands dirty with timer stuff. Yeah. I don't think yet though we're designing some of our like DB structure and stuff just to be subtick. Like we don't currently we store like ticks and time. I think you commented on my pull request recently, Nick. Like why don't we store like the tick rate or whatever? But tick rate is always constant for like
tick
a submode.
The tick count. Yeah. Because it's to compare with the offsets that we'd be calculating in.
I guess, but validation will count the time as well, right? You can just trivially infer that because it's just multiplied by some constant. And with the design of a submode system, like submodes never change tick. Submode has a fixed tick rate, so it's always just literally just submode to just some, no. Anyway. But so I think for subtick, we would just be throwing time in DB and stuff now. Again, with whether we're doing the actual like sort of interpolated calculation, I don't know how to describe it, but the thing of just taking your velocity as you enter a zone and the tick and inferring like if like the exact time to you're trying to like get a time value right from that's more fine grained than just
In between
literally
ticks,
like
yeah.
an integer number of ticks. Yeah, some integer multiple of the number of ticks was also I guess that doesn't have to be an integer, right? You can have a non-integer tick, right? Like 102.4 or whatever is in some CSGO or something else. I don't know. Anyway, with this, it would just be it's a float or a double. I can't remember in C++ and DB. I think it's a float.
Right, yeah. It's so implementation details aside, it's
I'm sorry. I
is
think we
planned.
might have it. The more I think about it, the more I think it's quite likely that Ria's done it already. I could be wrong. I think if we don't have it yet, it'll be
very
easy to
like
add
an
in.
010
There's
update,
not. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. So maybe
That's
we
why
do
we're
get it for
converting
010.
over to float, because if we don't have it, we at least have the infrastructure to set the float to the right value now.
Yeah, and we don't care if the times are off. So if we add it retro, like as long as we get it before 1.0, it doesn't matter.
Right. We'll wipe it 11 soon anyway. So
yeah.
So
okay. Yeah. Can't resist going into the nerdy stuff, but yeah.
No, it's fair. There's a lot of good stuff, and that's why it's like I really want the blog to have a lot of this like deep.
I love how
dive.
simple that system is. Like the subtext stuff is not complicated in any way.
Right.
It's just literally just interpolation. Right. That's all it is.
Help disrupt ties and stuff, but cool. Okay. Thank you, Disres, for this question. Sorry, 011 is probably around when it'll get in. But all right, we'll move on to the next one here.
All right. Next question is from Caustic1337. Would you like to design your own game mode and add it to Momentum mod?
Yes.
If yes, what could it be?
That's a good question.
Personally, I would like to design 5CP from TF2 and add it to Momentum mod.
The control, multiplayer.
Yeah.
No, it's you just run from one side of 5 gorge to the other.
Yeah.
It's so much
Capture
fun.
all 5 points. Yeah.
All 5.
Yeah. Add control points to momentum. Girardi jumping. Yeah. No, we will get that in fairly soon. Some people may have seen the joke commit I made on GitHub at one point, which I think is still there.
Game modes.
Where there's, I think, 100 game modes to the game mode enum.
It is there, but it isn't on any branch or something.
No,
it's
yeah,
just
it's
there.
Detached head. I was executed for writing that. I find it really fascinating how many just random fucking sets of movement conditions end up having really good gameplay.
Yeah.
I would love to. We talk about sort of game mode mixing stuff and stuff for 2.0 or whatever. I'm really curious as to it's you do, I presume, need humans to determine if a mode is actually good. You could try faff with genetic algorithms or whatever, but generally, I'd love to see with momentum, how Left 4 Dead 2 for a while had a thing of they just add a random game mode to play per week, and they'd write new random modes from time to time and just add them. I'd love to do that with Momentum's player base, partly because I want to test the hypothesis that pretty much anything can be fun. in first person movement, just weird conditions, you just do weird movement conditions. They tend to there's just stuff fun about them. Again, why the fuck is Ahop as good as it is, and as nuanced as it is, and it just is. And we see this all the time.
And it's
so
from a bad patch to previous bunny hop.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So
it wasn't
trying to design So trying to design a mode from deliberately, I think, is really interesting, and it's interesting to note that all the modes in Momentum are not designed like that. Though maybe parkour, I guess parkour in the future is pretty much.
I think rocket jumping was deliberate to some extent.
Well, kind of, but Valve don't know what the fuck they were doing with jump. Not very much. Robin Walker or whatever likes to talk about how much they love rocket jumping or whatever, but yeah.
The stars aligned with the amount of knockback you take to be able to poke stuff, and
that's the thing.
It's sink rockets and everything. It's just so
the stars align, or if they hadn't aligned, would there have been some other tech that was found as kind of similar? That I don't know. I just don't believe that the stars are aligned multiple times for different modes like this.
Right.
Of course there are modes like Half-Life 2 Old Engine, pile of shit. Who cares? But yeah, it's just bad Bhop. But there's so much stuff is good, and the stuff that is designed, I don't know. hunter movement
There's-
in Left 4 Dead 2, which someone did ask for recently.
There's mode mixing.
That's what I mean. I think we should do mode mixing, but I want to do like a weekly version and maybe
Yeah.
make it random.
Yeah.
Because I just want to see. I want to have human players play stuff and just see what ends up good.
Right.
And collecting some statistics on that, I reckon you might find some fascinating stuff. I don't know. It's a really quite obscure area that I think you'd find some really interesting things about first-person movement in general if you had the player base and the dev time to do a system like that. I think there'd be some really interesting realizations there.
I won't go into too much detail, but Ninja Cookie has shown off in meetings a couple of times
Oh,
some very
yeah.
interesting levels that might be
Oh
like
yeah,
April
we do.
Fool's
You mean
levels
the
at some point.
mode or
The mode. Well,
the...
I don't know if it'll be a full mode, but you know,
It will
it
be,
might end
yeah.
up just being a. Okay,
we
yeah. Well,
the secret mode?
the secret mode.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look
Ninja
out
makes some
in
very odd
April.
contraptions in Hammer.
Look out
Well,
for April
honestly,
next
the
year.
problem is it might actually be quite playable.
It's
um.
it might legitimately just be a new mode. I'm very in favor of it being a new mode. It's very
It's so fun.
Yeah.
I love the name we have as well. It's so dumb.
I think there's
Yeah.
there's a level of jank to like these game modes that I think if they were like very intentional mechanics, they probably wouldn't have that, and it would be
Yeah.
a lot simpler.
Yeah, I think that's where the really interesting thing lies, is that there's something really enjoyable about fighting against jank and sort of trying to like contain it and to get control over it. And often when players do reach that point with something like Ahop, where, you know, Ahop has like a real evolution, you know, you think about like, you know, when Maxim first started like really S-tapping well and stuff like that, where like the movement people use really changed, not because of new mechanics. Obviously there's stuff like plus strafe now that does like is an actual new mechanics people started using, but like, you know, Ahop really did evolve as like this core movement, and I'm sure that's the case with all sorts of other modes. But Ahop had some really stark stuff there, where like people just didn't AFH so much. They knew it was a strat, but didn't use it very much. And then you see Maxim do like Coaster 7 or whatever, like, oh yeah, we should start AFHing. That sort of process of like fighting with those constraints and like getting good. I guess that's the thing. It's like constraints. Like what?
Right.
Add some weird constraints to like an existing movement thing and see what comes out of that. And I think, from the very limited number of cases we have so far, you get really interesting stuff, and I want to experiment with stuff basically. But yeah, kind of not an answer to the question, but it's sort of tangentially related.
Yeah, I know Ox is
got,
also
like-
interested in like a D-hop mode where it's kind of
Well,
like a mix of
that's the
D-track
thing. Is that
and D-hop.
like that mode kind of works, but also kind of doesn't. I think. And I think it is a little bit too constructed. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff is what post 2.0 really is going to be the future of Momentum right after that, of just kind of seeing like if there's interesting combinations of things, and then just also if there's any wacky things, which I'm really excited to reveal what Ninja Cookie's been up to.
Oh god. Yeah.
I've been,
but I love
reading a ton of Brandon Sanderson recently. I don't know if any of you guys have read Brandon Sanderson. He
I've
has
I've read that really funny interview with him.
You'll have to explain that later, but basically his series called the Mistborn Saga or something is a fantasy series where series where the magic in the world comes from metals. So you consume certain metals to give you certain powers, and there's two metals that allow you to push and pull on metals. And
Right.
I was thinking that could be like an interesting 3D platformer in a video game. It's just like a hypothetical thing. And you push on big steel things and you go in the opposite direction because the big steel thing weighs more than you. But if you push on something small like a coin, the coin goes away from you. So
I
it
ate
could
a
be
tin
like
of sardines
really...
that became the most powerful thing in the universe.
Yeah. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting. You know, you could have obstacle courses designed around, I don't know, throwing small pieces of metal around and pushing and pulling on them to sort of navigate around. And I thought that could be an interesting sort of thing to play around with as just to see how it would work in a game universe. You know,
right.
I don't think it'll ever get made, but I thought, you know, I wonder how that would actually play.
That's the thing, is like when you construct that from, I don't know, what am I saying? I just feel like the most exciting way to experiment with new game modes is to deliberately make like weird stuff that doesn't make sense and then try to push against them.
Yeah.
I think like every time you try to start something with a very deliberate idea in mind, like it just never seems to work as well as like Ahop or whatever. I don't know. There's some. Basically, I guess what I'm saying is I think like making new modes like is probably like a challenge that a statistician is gonna like fare better at than like a normal game designer. Does that make sense? Like where there's I don't know.
But it's an interesting question, right? Because it's like it is effectively like what could come out of either existing mechanics or interesting other games or other mediums, right? That have some interesting things, and it's like again, Momentum's not a sandbox, but like after 2.0, it could be more and more open to be one because realistically, right, finding more modes to add is what would be, you know, the development effort of Momentum past that point. But like, it's just interesting to think about, and like, I
think some sample stuff,
right? Like it'll be fun. Like we might turn on scripting after that or something. Like we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, a lot of that stuff, like I mean, the movement stuff can be really abstracted out, and you could do APIs for like defining a bunch of movement stuff. I guess like a lot of the modes have their own like very specific weird stuff, but you could kind of incorporate that in some way. Like source movement is not super complex,
right?
But yeah, I'd love to just utilize the player base, right? Like give people like a daily mode, literally, and just have it be some random generated stuff.
No.
And just see what sticks.
Weekly, probably. Just
seriously, no. If you can generate it randomly, do it daily, and just have everyone play that same thing. I don't know. Maybe people because I expect if you do that, people will get good. They'll get better and better over time at like finding the core mechanics and stuff within each mode. Because you get used to doing it. So like Ahop could like get like understood a lot better than it is. You know, Ahop took years for people to like really understand a lot of the nuance to it, but you know, as people get good at finding the nuances and stuff, which seems like a really fun thing to do, finding those nuances in weird modes is just what speedrunners love, and it's always great, or a lot of the time it's great. I don't know. I think there's just so much potential there to like.
It's really just like being able to realize it, like actually like I mean, randomly generating settings and stuff could work, but like also just providing tools for mappers to be able to mess around. Again, not to deliberately make things, but to be like, oh yeah, what happens like if I do this and this, whatever. Like almost in a random sense, but like a little more, I guess, curated because it's a person doing it. But yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll that'll be the only use of AI. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I do think there is a genuine case for some combination of humans and maybe genetic algorithms or some other sort of kind of system here where I mean, you can talk about, you know, there's all different AI stuff around, and everyone likes to talk about large language models and stuff at the moment. But, you know, genetic algorithms as a way of doing movement stuff is a really interesting area. And I know people have messed with that quite a bit, right? People have done it for Jump, I think. And there's a cool video on like Trackmania stuff, I think, that some guy did. There's like multiple versions he did, like trying to make like the perfect Trackmania bot or whatever.
Larry did some machine learning stuff.
But I think given like the amount of interest in like different AI errors, we need to make the spec UI look better. Jesus Christ, difference in like AI errors and stuff, like, and as processing and stuff gets faster, like, you know, maybe you can more so in the future will be easier to try write genetic algorithms for solving certain game modes, and maybe there's some fun to be had there. Maybe it just takes the soul out of it. I don't know, but I don't know. It's such a right field. I think. First-person racing in general is just an incredibly, like, we're quite lucky in that we're working on a game that is not an original in a way, but like is clearly doing something that is really underrepresented in games at the moment, which is first-person movement. And I think has to become more of a thing in the future. There's bound to be lots of games in the future that are more serious about their movement and first-person stuff, just because it works really well. Mouse and keyboard and first-person stuff works extremely well. But I'd love to see in the future more of Momentum as a platform for like really pushing the boundaries on first-person movement stuff.
Yeah,
it'd be really, really cool.
So
we could talk about this for so long.
Yeah,
it's such a good question.
It is a very good question. Thank you, Caustic,
it's only like
for asking.
Question number like 7 or 8, is it?
Yeah.
We don't have that many, do we?
No, it's
Or
not a
do we?
lot. I think we have a couple
No.
more after this.
Okay.
But yeah, thank you,
Alright.
Caustic, for that question. We'll move on to the next one.
NotEagle is asking, now that CSGO is replaced with CS2, what will happen to maps which use CSGO assets? Will CSGO assets be available in Momentum mod?
That is
Kind of like the previous one,
pending.
right?
Yeah, it's pending Valve. We did get
Is
this.
it?
Yeah, it's pending
We've not
Valve.
emailed them, right?
Yeah, we
Valve
have
has
to
said what they're doing with it.
Yeah, it's. Oh no, that's right. Sorry. Oh my God, I
Yeah.
slight amnesia there. Sorry.
So Valve, what Valve has said is that they're just not going to be updating CS:GO in the future, but it is going to
Right.
be in the files.
But
So
it
there's
is
going to be a depot
branch.
still, so it's
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah.
We've not spent that much time discussing it in the last month or so. We're focusing on 10, and I mean, there's really not. I don't know if there's that much to discuss. Like, if you need the CS:GO
Right.
textures, you will need to download that branch.
Yeah.
In the future, like, we may reach out to Valve to try and get something out of it, but Valve are. My concern here is it's like anything that's involving asset stuff. It's likely to be something that involves both developers or more core Valve people and then legal.
Yeah.
And I imagine if it involves two people at Valve, the chances of it getting anywhere, us being able to talk to them about it, is about 1 in a million. That's maybe exaggerating, but I think probably about. And then it's incredibly unlikely. I think it's so hard to get that kind of stuff with them. Yeah. So I don't know. I just. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's realistically keep CS2 with the CSGO branch installed. We will ideally have a way for you to take that VPK, those VPKs, and optimize what we need out of them to where you will have the CSGO assets you got from the game, but now locally somewhere else, and that way the game only cares about that, and then you can change CS2 back to normal.
Good.
But yeah,
So
that's ideally our solution.
Can I just clarify that? In that what we can do, we can provide a script, a little program that can take files that you have downloaded from Steam, extract them, and put them in some VPK, right?
Yeah.
That then just Momentum accesses. What we can't do is serve you those files, right? Like once those files you've downloaded them, I think you can do whatever. There may be some lighting stuff that you can't modify them, but I don't think so, and Valve wouldn't care. Like the taking those files out, putting them in a VPK, and then that's it. Fine. The thing that's more of a grey area is how much of that we can automate, and probably we do need you to need you to download the stuff on Steam or whatever, and then run this script. We could maybe be able to launch it from in game, but
luckily you only do it
some
once now, because when CSS and CS:GO, when are they gonna get new textures? I mean, TF2 I guess gets new holiday items, which
doesn't matter. Don't use them. We should maybe we should have a policy for 010 of don't submit a TF2 map that's using brand new shit.
Yeah.
Because, but yeah, it will probably be some case like that. So I think ultimately CSS is always going to be the most annoying thing for us because CSS is not free.
Right.
The other stuff you can. What we'd love is to have something that requires the user do nothing, no effort at all. They just click some button, everything's resolved. That's probably never going to be the case. You probably will have to click some buttons based on some instruction that we give you on our docs page that takes you to the Steam store or the Steam settings or whatever that downloads CS2, and then you run the script on this stuff. And that's not ideal. As developers, it's really shit to have to put your users through some specific manual tasks that each of them have to do.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Making it we'll ever have an alternative to that.
Yeah. We'll probably have it in the UI to kick it off or something. We'll figure out how we want to implement it. It could even probably just use the source file system, so it could be in C++ or something. But we'll see. We'll see how we want to do it. But it will be something that makes it easier for you to install your games. The game will detect that you have them installed. You can click a button and it'll optimize the VPKs over into a drive of your choosing or something, and just mount from there from then on. So you have to have the games or have those sources, and then our script will take from that, and it's not serving anything. It's just it's rearranging those VPKs to be optimal. So we'll see how that goes. Again, Asset Atlas, I hope blog post will touch on that as well, because it's relevant. Those are going to be content sources for some maps, right? So so hopefully that answers that. We did answer this a couple times now, but so
I think this will be the last time that we deal with this question now. Hopefully that's an adequate answer. Obviously ask in our Discord if you don't like the answer.
Yeah, feel free to talk to us. Cool. All right. Thank you, NotEagle. We'll move on to the, I think, last question? Ask question?
I think there's a few more slides.
Okay, cool.
Alright, so disres is asking, would it be possible to have a setting to shadowplay your saveloc so it puts a few ticks/seconds further back than when you press the button? Or wait. No, it puts you at... Oh, it puts you a few ticks back.
Yeah, further back from when you actually made it.
Sorry, I misread it.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that is, I think we actually, it's like the Prince of Persia, like, kind of buffer, right? Where it's like, we constantly record the last 5 seconds or configurable seconds of your movement and stuff as a replay. And then just like, when you make that save lock, we just snap to that frame in the replay and then save that as your save lock. That's doable for sure. Like, it's not.
Yeah, because we are recording the demo the whole time, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
all your
for sure.
inputs have been saved during your run, so I don't see why we wouldn't be able to just rewind to any point in your current run.
Yeah, I mean, if this is something that's running all the time, even on non-zoned maps, yeah, that would have to be probably another kind of system or just something on top of it. But if it's on, like, yeah, even in just, yeah, a map that we're recording everything already, right, we could very easily jump back a couple, you know, a few ticks is under a second, but yeah, a couple seconds, or like, it's adjustable based on how much you want to go back. But yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm a bit confused. So are they talking about going back like a checkpoint, or are they talking about getting a recording, since they're like mentioning shadowplay?
So shadowplay is more like a buffer, I think, is what I was reading out of this, is like having kind of a, like how shadowplay records a buffer of like the last 30 seconds or whatever rolling of your gameplay. We would have the same thing of your gameplay and just like snap to a position and angles you were at back then. Obviously the adjustment there being how much more memory we store, but like, it's relatively small. Yeah, it's like a couple floats, right? Like, it shouldn't be too bad.
Oh, floats. I don't know. I mean, that might be too much.
That might be too much. They are 4K.
How much RAM do computers have nowadays?
At least
most
5.
people only have 64K.
Yeah.
The days. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Like, I think this is a realistic setting. I think we have a card for this. I think there's like a replay.
I think we do.
Buffer
I think Rio's interested in this.
So yes, yeah.
Kind of a yeah. But this is, we had another question before, right? Though it's kind of touching on the stuff we're about to start thinking about in a lot of depth for 011. Where probably as we start getting closer to the end of 010, we'll start doing more meetings of like design meetings for the 011 stuff. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And so this is something that would be really good to maybe get in for 011. We'll see. Maybe it doesn't end up in 011 and ends up as a 1.0 thing, even maybe if it's going to take a while. But because something like this, because it's so dependent on existing systems, it's relying on already being good.
Right.
If a lot of the time adding this in, it ends up being quite easy if all the other stuff makes sense, right? The way that replays and stuff are being recorded already makes sense, and the data structures make sense, and so maybe it ends up being quite easy.
Yeah, if it's man, I forgot about save states. We're storing more state now in savelocs eventually, so that might be a little more complicated because that's like entity state for every single tick that happened before.
Yeah, but it's not that much, right? It's memory, but it's computers have lots of memory now.
I mean, if we do like snapshots and then like replay it or something, there's ways to do it for sure. But but for sure, it's something we're interested in. Yeah. But yeah, we have a lot of systems that are probably doing.
How much do you think a single tick takes of like that?
I don't know. I actually don't know. We haven't seen the new save.
It's a good question. It'd be really interesting to see, right?
But it's very instant when you load back.
Momentum's quite efficient on RAM, right? We don't use that much, do we?
No, I think we're regularly under 1 gig. It depends on the map that you're playing.
Yeah.
A lot of momentum maps probably just don't have that many entities in them compared to something like Half-Life 2 that's got a bunch of NPCs.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it's a lot of it is just memory allocator work. So
Memory alligators.
sorry, I just said that just so I could say my nickname in the secret strata server is the memory alligator, which I find extremely funny. Memory alligator.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's definitely going to be worth seeing if it's possible. I think we could do something where it's like we kind of take snapshots every like 2 seconds and then recreate based up. So like it really is just like another system that we'll have to kind of design. But
Yeah.
it is doable. It is doable to yeah. It's weird
I kind
with
of
a
missed
save
what the
log.
question was. Were we asking about like when you make a save state, like also record a little bit of before the save state?
Yeah, it's just a buffer system. Yeah.
Yeah, Source already does that sort of. The server always has a second's worth of game state saved so that it can do lag compensation.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
Yeah.
could use that, but I mean that's something that we already do. So
Right.
technically, like it's kind of already there.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is like when you think about systems like that, like it's gonna be, I don't think the memory usage like is that worrying at all for something like this, right?
Right.
Sounds very
No,
doable.
not in the modern day.
No. Again, with like we do store more stuff now with the new saveloc stuff, but
Right.
save state. That's what they call save states. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is a genuinely really good suggestion for a feature. I fully agree. If we could do this for the entire run, that would be awesome. To be able to look through a replay file but again, with the replays aren't in storing all of their state, right? But maybe you can do some system where you can take a chunk of replay and something else that's in memory, and that's enough to sort of reconstruct stuff well enough. Because keep in mind, like, well, I guess it depends if you allow this for saveloc runs, which is something we are going to allow in the future, where you could submit a replay that's used savelocs.
Yeah.
But if it is something that doesn't require validation and is not a full run, then you can perhaps maybe you can cut a few corners right, because you're no longer worried about like this being a legitimate run at that point if you start using the saveloc.
Yeah, I
Going
think
back
it's
now.
it's yeah, I mean it depends. I mean, if it's just like having that gameplay and then the game plays that out to the save log point, just to give you more context, like a la Trackmania that does like a little bit of a buffer before you get back into control. That's a different thing compared to like when you hit a save lock, you actually have like like your actual state's like a couple seconds back. Yeah. Like
But what would be really nice would be to take any replay and just start playing from a specific point in the replay as well. Right?
Exactly, yeah, right? Like if we have, so this could even overlap with that, where we have like run attempts that are saved out every time you try, and then if you want to go back to a specific point that was in that run, you could watch up to that point, then make a save state there, and then play it out. That's also going to be a thing.
Really funny what Nathan just said. Yeah, he's completely right. You can already do this.
Yeah.
You can do this. You can just make a save lock while playing a replay. Yeah.
But like we don't have a system for the attempts. So if it's a failed run or something, then it just discarded when you enter the start zone. But so
we already have all that replay stuff in memory, right? So if you want to
so we'll probably just have the attempt system, and then you can look at that on the tab menu and like go to it and then make a save log. So yeah, I guess technically we already have it, and this is just a matter of implementing the attempt system.
So what I do love about this is taking something like savelocs and save states, as we call them, because we save more than just your location, we save the whole state. Is that like this is something that most servers have already and people are super used to, but like as we work through it and like really integrate it to like the rest of Momentum, like it can involve so much more. Like you can have UI in the replay thing or whatever, potentially, that it's like start from here or whatever, and that's gonna take you into the game, make a save state for you, and then like just start playing from that point, but then you can just go back to the save state. So like then you have like save states being integrated with all these other systems as well, and like everything being a sort of cohesive whole, and that feels really good. I like that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thank you, Disres, for that question. We'll move on to the next one here.
Can we change maps again as well?
Yes. Yeah. Let's give Blank a little break. Blank got really close a couple times. Yeah, which map should we go to? Let's try. Do we want to do rocket jump?
Ugh.
We haven't done any rocket jump today.
I'm
Yeah.
on Vex right now. If you want to join Vex.
Okay.
How about we spec me? I'll play rocket jump.
Vex is a classic map.
Yeah, Vex is one of my
God.
favorites. Very fun.
What was this? Tier 4. Who's got the time?
Tier 4.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Vex by balls.
By balls.
Yeah.
All right.
I currently have a
balls
stash
to-
on
yeah.
my website, like local branch, like just called balls 2. Get that.
Gotta check the balls folder.
I had one called balls, which like was me getting annoyed by something, which I then deleted. It's not. Well, I deleted that at some point, and it's just balls 2 now. But that's actually like an important stash with some useful stuff in.
Tom, stop talking about balls. We have an important question from Paddy. It's, any plans for adding more unique surfaces or a universal surface where properties like friction, bounciness can easily be edited by mappers?
There's something that we talked about this, didn't we?
I know we wanted to. Well, I know Rio was talking about making like a Conc entity that is bouncy. I don't know if you'd be able to change how much it bounces you.
I feel like surface properties are a really jank way of adding gameplay elements.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because people will just use people will use materials and then not realize, oh, this material has like ice physics. Cool.
That can be a tooling thing. You can have the material like show in
Yeah.
the texture browser, or even in like the Hammer 3D view if you wanted. So.
Yeah,
What
but
we really
I-
should do is
I
have
don't-
it be possible for it to be independent of the material. I never understood why they didn't do it like that.
Yeah.
It's a thing you can do in Quake 2. You can go into the level editor and you can pick any surface anywhere and you can add any surface flag at all to it. It's not even a material thing in that game. I never understood why they stopped doing that in Quake 3 and Source.
So it's like specific to the brush instead of
Right, yeah, it's not even a material property.
Right.
If we had something like that, which we
a
could.
lump.
Hmm?
You have to change your lumps. Well, in that case.
Yeah, probably.
But I think either way, we're for most things, I think it's better off as an entity. I don't like the idea of leaving stuff like that in surface properties, because then we end up like, I remember when we had when we first got TF2 stuff working, maps that had stuff with compile ladders, you could suddenly climb on the walls.
You could climb the walls. I remember that. Oh, that's a classic.
Genji. I want to be Genji.
I think it's a lot more clear and easier to understand if there's like a proper entity there to know that this is actually intentional and they didn't just use a random texture.
Yeah.
Nick, do you prefer Genji or Hanzo?
Hanzo.
You know Genji and Hanzo are brothers?
Oh, I didn't know that. I gotta watch the Overwatch cinematics again. No, I'm just kidding.
You work at Blizzard.
No,
I just think that's so cool.
I do.
My favorite surface property is the weird gunk on canals that just makes you jump half a side for some reason.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You've not seen
right.
that?
No?
Like just halfway through the map, there's one patch of ground that is just like the sludge texture, but it means that you jump half a side, and it makes getting over the fence really hard.
Yeah, the sludge.
Oh.
So
talking about the.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, in reference to the original question, especially if you wanted to have something that's editable, that would need to be an entity, at least with our current system, because there's no way that you could have like a custom surface flag and then say, I want this to be 25% friction. Like, that's not something you can do with surface flags. It could be an entity, though.
Yeah. And that's where we're aiming our efforts, right, for this kind of level of gameplay. A lot of like stuff like this has to really be conveyed well. Like if we're gonna have funk, slide, or slick, right? Like having some sort of texture related to conveying that, but that is up to the mapper to display that, right? Our entity's not gonna automatically be ice because it doesn't make sense. You know, there could be maps where that doesn't make sense. So
we really should have visualization for that, though, that can be toggled on, like show triggers, but for whatever surface.
Yeah, Right, and with we didn't show Vortex's work at the beginning of this stream, but I mean, I'd rather show it off in game once we get it in game, because we have some amazing visualization updates coming to the zones, because the zones are the most important thing that you need to like see and like understand what they are, right? They can't just be lines, though, if you want them to be just lines, you can toggle it, but like we have visualization like that we could apply to other triggers like slick, where you have kind of more of like a frost effect maybe, or something like that, where there's visualization that could be enabled by default or something for your map. But yeah,
just something that stands out.
Right. Yeah,
because mappers absolutely will like make random pieces of their map slick. No one will notice.
Yeah. And so it's like it's having some sort of system or design there where we could let you guys do that, but still have like a common like, oh, this is still bouncy or this is still slick. It's just modified or something. Like that's okay, but like having that visualization there is really important. So it could be part of our checklist, or it could just be something we enforce the entity to do by default or something. Like, yeah, we'll see. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to be able to allow you to customize how surfaces work, for sure. Yeah, realistically, where we draw the line is like the core gameplay. Like, we don't want you to change tick rate or something, right? Like, stuff like that. Like, it's not...
Well, a surface prop that changes the tick rate.
Yeah, right? Like, can you imagine? Anyway, it's, yeah, so, yeah, absolutely.
You stand on this surface, your FPS is cut by half.
Yeah.
It's the FPS thing, sludge.
Like a multiplayer map, and it's
like
that.
That's a
like Half-Life
idea. That's a good point. Could have our
it's
randomly.
Like Half-Life.
Where's the Netgraph 3 surface prop? Come on.
Yes. Toggle HUD elements. What were you saying, XP?
It's like in Half-Life where like speedruns are FPS dependent.
Oh,
you just like enforce them in random parts, and it's like, oh, this bounce only works at 70 FPS.
Yeah, it's the same for Half-Life 2 void clipping. You have to go to the low FPS to get further. I hated that shit.
Yeah, like this is. This sounds like a joke, but this is how Quake 2 speedrunning works. Quake 2 runners have like different keybinds for like 72 and 115 FPS. It's amazing.
No, I should want that, right?
id Tech classic, going all the way up to source. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's yeah.
Doesn't Fallout 4 have that? There's some
Fallout 76 had the frame rate dependent movement. So you can unlock your frame rate and just sprint across the map.
I think Starfield still has it, but Bethesda were like trying to like pretend that they'd like rewrote that engine because all the like Bethesda nerds were just complaining about their engine being bad, and so they said they'd change all this stuff, and then like it's still frame rate dependent or whatever, and it has all these like stupid frame rate. Anyways.
Yeah. But all right, so hopefully that answers that question, Paddy. We'll move on to our next one here.
This is the second last one.
Nice.
From Bloxel64. They're asking, once all the currently planned features are implemented in both Momentum and its tools, where do you plan to take the game?
Right on, yeah. So more roadmap stuff. I mean, I guess realistically, the roadmap that we have laid out is to 1.0, which is public release and fresh slate, reset everyone. But after we get to 2.0, 2.0 is our planned campaign. So we actually plan to have a campaign that takes as many of the modes that we can put in a campaign. The campaign's kind of design is a revolving around the idea of there being multiple modes. But that is the kind of like end master plan goal, is having a campaign that has some story into it, and having just a way to experience these modes in a curated way that will be akin to kind of like map playlists, but like very, very specifically, right? Like we'll be designing them with consistent theming, with consistent story beats and stuff. So the campaign for sure. is where we're taking the game at 2.0. Onwards, it is really going to be just a kind of like, hey, like what kind of modes, what kind of gameplay would be exciting to add, right? Because there's the existing modes, but we could always add more modes. But it has to be like fun and engaging and competitive, right? All at the same time, right? If it's really boring, no one's gonna want to play it and compete. If it's not really competitive, we could probably still add them, just with like unranked leaderboards or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
well, no, I mean, stuff of city mode. I think the thing, no, I think with sub modes, which is just game modes, like every mode is sub mode. Like we could do like sillier stuff, and they could still be ranked. Like if it's just having all the sub mode, it just gets ranked. I think it'd be really weird if they weren't, and also it'd be annoying to rank. But like the thing that I don't know, we have plans like of other modes. Like we are working on climb now. That's official. We brought Game Curse on.
Yes.
With climb, we are expecting there to be multiple climb variants. I don't know how public we're being about what stuff yet, but we're not just having the one climb mode because it's not going to make everyone happy.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to have a 1.6 based climb thing. We're also interested in other God Source stuff. How public are we being about different game mode stuff? We're keeping some of it secret, or are we just saying it?
Well, not okay. Ninja Cookies is definitely
yeah. Okay, but climb and Bhop, right?
Right. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. No, we talked about it, I think when we announced Game Chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. So with climb, we're fairly likely to have 3 climb variants.
Yes.
We are somewhat interested in scroll hop. We are there's a decent likelihood. Where are you going, Mac?
Cheating.
There's a decent likelihood we end up with 3 Bhop modes and 3 climb modes, where we have Bhop, source, scroll hop, 1.6, and then climb. Maybe not 1.6, but gold source based.
Yeah.
And then potentially or Half-Life 1 probably. I don't know. One of them. They're similar, right? 3 versions. Did we talk all about 3 versions?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then so climb 3 versions, Bhop potentially 3 versions. So like with Supermine stuff like that, the idea is like we can be more open to like variants of existing modes. I think doing like whole totally new things, like at that point we kind of have there's not that much whole totally new things we'd want to do, right? Besides game mode mixing, and I think once we start, there's parkour, right? I think we'll probably do parkour, and it'll be interesting to see where parkour goes and if that ends up with some sub modes or something. I don't know. But then I really feel like, as I was talking earlier about how excited I am for like game mode mixing stuff and like messing with like variants and just seeing how much you can push that.
Yeah.
For me, that would be the kind of ultimate thing for momentum, would be to almost just like, I want to be able to describe a game mode in like JSON. Like I want it to be like a configurable game mode system like that, or something that has some like, I don't know. There's that to me feels like the future of momentum as like a really long-term thing would be trying to make some of the game mode stuff not just like mixable, but actually like open source and configurable.
Yeah.
And like literally just exposing all the like, you could like expose a thing that like just lets you like override like specific methods, right, in the movement code.
I mean,
like,
there's scripting.
check
that we
jump
could add.
move or whatever, that stuff. Yeah, maybe just scripting. It's or anything that's like capable of doing like any full game mode system.
Right.
Or I don't know, enough like being able to expose, or maybe just use scripts to probably better than just C++. I don't know. That thing, that kind of stuff. I feel like there's so much there, and I'd love to get that working with our leaderboard system in some way, where we're trying to make our leaderboard stuff pretty like open to additions and stuff in the future anyway, especially with like styles and stuff, where we really don't know how many different styles there are, because different modes can have different styles and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. That to me feels like but doing that in a way that can be more open, because we are probably never going to be able to open source the whole game. It would be amazing if we could, but I'm extremely doubtful, and I'm not going to ever, unless we get some very concrete thing from Valve, I'm not going to make decisions based on the potential of that being a thing, or like with that potential in mind, just because it's so unlikely, and I think that's unwise. So doing something where you make the game mode system, we get our core stuff like really, really concrete, and that's what we're really trying to do with 010, where like there's zones and timers and stuff are like way better designed and more adaptable, but also just we're happy with them, and we think those can work for like a really big combination of modes, because that's like Momentum right now. We're designing with a lot of different modes in mind. Like even before we brought the game chaos on, as we were thinking through O10 zoning, we were giving a fair bit of thought to stuff on climb.
Right.
I liked it. So just specking me. That's really exciting. So like we've got these like core systems that really are designed to be a lot more like reliable in the future. Watch someone else. What the hell?
There's nobody else playing.
Right. I refuse.
Aw.
Fine.
Lay downs
Yeah.
on it. We could play some.
But so
Is Mist's map in the game yet?
It's not technically done, I don't think.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Well, I could,
like
I
5
could
more
do some
stages.
fun. Yeah, I can do speed whilst I talk about this.
Cool.
I can't wait to not be in the credits for this. I don't deserve to be in the credits. We still haven't decided where porters go in credits. Actually, I hope we don't have to rethink credits again. Anyway, like with the core systems like really concrete, then I love the idea that we do start expanding scripting stuff to general game mode things and maybe entities or something like that. I think there's real potential there, where like the worry with any scripting system or mod API, whatever, not when you adding a mod API, like is that you just end up trying to provide too much and therefore get nowhere. And I think if we can like really sort of split out specific stuff that we do really good custom scripting stuff for, like game modes, and don't try to do it for anything else, like just game modes, and do that really well, and maybe even have backend integration, like there's so much potential there. Like yeah. So that's what excites me. I love because like seeing Momentum like really push like itself as a as this way of like really doing all sorts of cool stuff with just first person movement, which is such a like untapped potential.
Right.
That's where I see the future of like Momentum long term, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, 1.0 is realistically a lot of the core, and then like 2.0 and kind of onwards is like kind of exploring, right? Like the things like more, obviously parkour will be added, right? Like we want to explore sub modes. We want to add, more routes and more of our routes in game gold source. So it'll be exciting. It'll be exciting to see kind of like what starts to get added and focused on, because I think after 1.0 there's a ton of attention there that leads to really awesome
Why did I do that?
Like really awesome development and just potential ideas there. And realistically it's going to be driven by the community. If there's a new thing that comes out of the community, supporting things like that is really, really important too, right? Like we want to be able to we really want to be able to support like the growth of the game, both with people figuring out, like finding it and figuring out how to play, but also just like actually the future of the game too. Of like, we want more maps. We're going to be doing a ton of like, mapping competition. And somebody talked about esports. It could be a thing, right? Like it could be something that we look into doing officially, of like talking with like
sorry, but the way I've always looked at that stuff is like you give resources to like the esport producery people, all those people that already know that shit, and you be really accommodating to them. You don't try to do your own esport stuff or whatever. That's not gonna work. Like
that's
not so complicated and
for sure.
Yeah.
I was just clarifying supporting esports in the sense of like, I mean, obviously, right, we're a very competitive game from the get-go, and we will have race and tournament like features in the game, but like, leaning more towards like showing off the more official tournaments on our main page or homepage of the game and stuff, like things like that, just showing off more of the community. It's like we'll probably have our hands
I really
full
do appreciate you for clarifying that.
Yeah, and it's like we will have our hands full with like highlighting the community mappers and runners and stuff that we really want to show off, and like because there's going to be a lot of amazing like content, a lot of amazing runs, tense moments inside of like different tournaments and stuff. So like highlighting that because we have, as the official capacity of the game, like we have, you know, our way to spread that, but we also really want the community to take charge on like uploading world record runs, you know, streaming random lobbies or something.
Yeah.
So there's a level of like where we focus on is just highlighting and like emphasizing, whereas the community is doing literally everything else of like, yeah, everything being uploaded everywhere and whatnot. So yeah, like it'll be fun, and I just really genuinely want to see how big the game gets. I'm not making this to be big or popular or whatever. I'm gonna play it, but I really want to see
it for the money.
only doing it for all of the money. No, I genuinely want to see where. Yeah.
You this is a good sign of someone who is just shit at computer games. Is they do something like that where you just have to go up and like I will like go like this. I like.
Yeah, and so it's just, it'll be amazing to see where the game goes. So if it blows up, you know, what does that lead to? Does it lead to, you know,
lucrative
esports?
Yeah. No, there's obviously so much potential for like that stuff.
Yeah.
For me it's like, again, it's just core systems. Like, don't expect that you can add like good like esport lobby whatever immediately. Just, I don't know, you gotta
work our way to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I mean, again, we were asked earlier if we get open source. That might be where we start heading to. Is, do we open source as much as we can? Like, does Valve let us? Who knows? So.
Well, I'm saying the opposite. We open source like the specific bits and do it really well.
Yeah.
That's like the thing. And like it's similar like that with like if you're trying to do like good like broadcasting stuff. Like don't, you know, we don't give everyone say like, oh yeah, you can do a custom panorama HUD for your like esport event or whatever. No.
Yeah.
Like give them thingies that like lets them like hook into whatever through OBS or whatever they use. I don't know how that stuff works, but you like do that instead of like some like stupid panel thing or whatever. You know, like I don't know.
Miscellaneous development.
I'm too tired.
Yeah, no worries. It's all good. But so it'll be exciting. Just too long didn't read. It'll be very exciting where the game goes after we have kind of all of the core things in place. So
I would love to see once momentum is more or less done, I would love to see us give at least like a good attempt at trying to get Valve to acknowledge us and see if we can open source things. Yeah. Once we have the developer power to actually devote to something like that, I think we should at least try.
Yeah.
It's pretty unlikely that they'll notice, even if the game does get big, but you might as well try.
Right.
No, I'm all in favor of trying. I just think it's so unlikely that Valve do let us open source significant parts or like the full engine.
Right.
And it would be so hard to disentangle stuff.
Yeah, I'm in favor of trying after we've got the game released. I don't think it's something we should spend time on now. I think it's something that we shouldn't approach until we have the like developer power to say to Valve, like, yeah, this is something we can support and do, because that would be a prerequisite, I think. Yeah. But right now, we need to just focus on getting momentum done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What if I don't know.
Okay. All good. Well, let's move on to our last asked question here.
All right. Wolfboy248 is asking, when using savelocs, the run is invalid. Could there be like a timer for how long it would have taken if you didn't save log?
Fun fact, that already exists, and I'll show it. That segues perfectly into me playing the game finally. 2 hours. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. I was just watching the preview on OBS the entire time, pretty much. It's very addicting. But yes, there is that. There is you make a save log, when you load it back, the run is invalid. Once we add segmented runs, it won't be invalid. It'll just snip the replay. But yeah, let me get in game here. That's a perfect segue for me to show that off. But yeah, let me go into here. I'll hide the questions now, and we'll get over in game here. So when you start a run, your timer goes, and what they're asking is when you go further into the level, and make a save lock, like so at 3 seconds ish. And I go further, but I completely beef it over here. And I load back. You can see every time I load back, it goes back to 3 seconds. So we already have that in game for practicing. So you can just see roughly if you improve, like how much time save. We do have the comparison HUD hooked up, but it does not save the run. In fact, it just canceled my run, so it's not going to submit. If I complete this map, which it's really long, it'll take me a bit to complete. But if I complete the map, it'll actually show the comparison, but it won't actually save that run. In the future, it will save the run as a segmented run if you want it to. You can always manually stop your run at any time if you want to. But yeah, it's pretty cool, and so it's a nice feature of having full control over savelocs and save states. And in the future, you know, there will be more being stored inside of these. But
I think the question is, would you be able to not the timer, but if you show the run if you hadn't failed? So like if you failed, like you show the whole run as if that hadn't happened. So in the
like
the possible world, if in the possible world in which you did succeed the run, can we show that?
That's a good question. I don't like hypothetical looking at like if you had done the segment like kind of like Life Split does, where it's like possible best run time or something like that, where it looks at the rest of your splits gold and like just shows you what the possible best time you could get. We could definitely do that because like Life Split does that.
No, we show you the run. We show you the replay file of the run that you would have done.
As in we time travel to a separate universe or something where
in the possible world of right.
I mean that's more advanced. Maybe AI could generate.
We show a spooky transition.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe AI can generate a run for you or something.
That's not that. That would just be an AI shit.
No, like generating what the run would look like.
No. I'm asking you to do the metaphysically impossible, which is actually being added to C++ 2026.
Oh, so, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're adding possible world semantics to. Yeah.
I mean, there already is future and stuff, right? Oh, is that what they're adding?
Yeah.
Is like futures? Okay.
No, they're adding Lewisian modal realism to C++. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. Damn it.
Oh my god, did I win? No.
I needed to throw it.
It's Gordy still in voice. You're regular, right?
Yeah.
You're like the rectangular guy. The I am rectangular guy. Sorry, my brain is like completely like collapsed. I'm just like delirious. I apologize.
I also had a small question about will we support animated PFPs from Steam?
No, I'm against it because they're fucking stupid.
Okay.
I think CS2 has it. I think we
CS2
might be able to do it, but I don't think we should because I think it's a horrible feature. I genuinely think that. I think it's something that is such a dumb feature that they should not have added, and I don't think games should support it. It's up to the game if they want to support it or not, and it's just a stupid thing.
I mean, it couldn't be that. It couldn't take that much dev time to do.
No, I think even if we could add it for free and we just had the code for it sitting around, I still don't think we should add it. I think it's just obnoxious and bad. And it's not something that game UI should do. It doesn't make sense, just from a UI design point of view, to just have avatars be randomly animated. Avatars are something that should be, a consistent, easy to identify thing that represents someone, right? And an animated avatar kind of doesn't do that. If you see a big list of avatars, right, and one of them's animated, that's just confusing and annoying. I think it's a really bad feature that, I don't think any serious, UI UX person's going to agree to in principle. I don't know why Steam has it. I don't think it's because Valve just want to make more money, because Valve already make loads of money by exploiting indie devs. Anyway. So like, I don't know, I just don't think we should add it. It's the thing. I think even if it was free to add, we shouldn't do it. I think it's something we should just refuse to support, because it's a horrible feature that shouldn't exist. And it's really sad that Valve... But if it was like... if it wasn't like a paid thing, but like it is only like unlockable Steam things anyway, right? So like the shitty like animated Steam ones, right? Which is itself a stupid system. So yeah, sorry, I've turned this into a rant, but yeah, that's my view on it. Also, I'm like the main panel person, so I'm gonna refuse to support it. But no, I genuinely don't think we should.
Damn. Yeah,
does anyone disagree? Or like...
I just think it's dumb in the sense of it could be distracting, but it depends on what our player cards look like. Because like we might have animated player cards.
Yeah, we could have animated player cards, but that
that's
could be
like
our
you
own
explicitly
thing,
go into the UI for it. You know?
But the idea that like we want to be able to show avatars like all over the place. Like we don't want animated avatars like in the leaderboards, right? Like Nick, like press tab real quick and like show the little avatars, right? Like how dumb would that look if those were animated? Right.
Well, mine is animated, but it isn't. It doesn't show.
Yeah, but we don't show it. We don't animate it, and I really, genuinely, like, passionately don't think we should. I think it's a stupid UI UX thing to do to support this. And what Valve, because I think Steam having it, I think is really, really bad. Like, I don't think an avatar is something that you should just randomly add like a whole different behavior to. An avatar is traditionally just a single static image, right? And you use to set their avatar. That's it. And game devs will design their UI with that in mind, right? And then randomly making them animated one day is, I just think, a really obnoxious, silly thing to do. But what they're also doing is, because a lot of avatars look really stupid when they're not animated, like the animated ones that are supposed to be animated, then you just have people that have bad avatars in your game because you choose not to support their stupid feature. So I just think it's pathetic of Valve to do it. I just don't think they should have added it, and I don't understand why they did. I know this is like unreasonable. I'm getting unreasonably annoyed by this, but I think, I don't know. I just think it's a UI UX just eyesore.
Yeah, I agree. I think I've been playing a little. I've been playing a little Modern Warfare 3, and it's actually really fucking annoying how like quickly animated. I don't know if people have seen it, but it's not good. I'm not a very big fan of that UI, but like yeah, But
the point of it with Steam is that Steam is a whole platform where like all sorts of different games are going to likely to use Steam avatars, right? The Steam. Their avatar is going to have a responsibility to be this like coherent thing, right? Because UI designers in all sorts of games are going to be making use of them, right? So you want your avatar to just be an avatar, and animating it that makes it an animated avatar, which from a UI designer's point of view is a very different thing to be working with. So I don't think they should just change that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if it's on your own game and platform and it's like just like COD or whatever, but is that just an Xbox thing though, the avatars, or is it just for COD?
No, Call of Duty has like calling cards in the like lobby now.
Right, it's not as bad. Right, I'm not as annoyed, but yeah. Like, wait, actually, does in CS2, for instance, like, when you're mid-round, you can see in like the top thing, you can see like everyone's avatar, right? Or is that not?
It is it is animated. It is also animated.
Why?
Yeah,
that's insane. Yeah. Oh, sorry, no. I completely forgot. CS2 has an option to turn it off. Yeah, you can turn it off.
That's the thing.
Yeah. If you have an option, it's maybe not as bad, but like, why have it in the first place? Like,
that's actually why I asked it to this, because I was playing CS2 and I noticed it.
Which is crazy. But, oh yeah, I'm mid-round. Yeah, I need to like be watching, Squeaky, and like someone's avatar. It's like the weird like Stalin avatar or whatever. It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But it's good that you can turn it off. But like in a game like CS, it feels silly to even have that be a thing. I guess Valve make a lot of random dumb decisions and don't seem to like talk to each other that much a lot of the time. Valve sometimes seem to do something that like some department wants and then some other department like just I don't know. Valve just feel disorganized all the time, and so I feel that with something like this, like I don't know, some people at Steam maybe added this, but like I don't know how much they discussed it because it's really odd to me that they'd have this like. That people at Valve are like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. Animated avatars. I don't know. I find it really strange. You know?
I don't know. I think they're just giving Steam points more value or something. But
it's Valve has so much money, but maybe they
It's very interesting because like wasn't that what the gems thing was, and they changed it now? Or
I don't
points a separate thing.
Yeah, points are separate, but I don't really know how can you even use like these champs. You can the only thing you can do with them is just like buy cards, and then after you bought cards, you can create it back, and then like if you live in a perfect world, you will get something good from this pack. But when you will not genuinely.
Are they gifts? Why do they do the animated avatars? Are they even what do you call it?
I guess you can't even gift or like sell anything you bought for points.
Gifts. I meant like the avatar images. Oh, by the way, if anyone's in my lobby is specking me, can like a mapper look at me and tell me what they think of this? Is this well made? Mac, check this out. Do you think I made this well? Like this?
Yeah, it's great.
Do you think this is like good geometry? This. I used the carve tool. I didn't.
I was asking in chat if that's you in the background, Tom. Tried to show it off in all its glory.
Yeah,
I should not have done this as my background. We are not making it the YouTube thumbnail. I'm actually not allowing that. I'm not having it. It's too weird.
Quick, draw something.
Maybe that's funny. Is that the YouTube thumbnail? Is that okay? Traz puts whatever dumb thing in the thumbnail. Traz will do anything.
I honestly don't know how they realised it was you. I genuinely saw that photo and just thought it was some random weird face you'd found on the internet.
No, it's me. And it's called god.jpg.
That's very good.
Yeah, really good for a thumbnail.
There's something incredibly funny about... I always find it funny if you take someone's face and Photoshop it, where you take the like cheeks and the size of their heads and like clone stamp them outwards, so you get just a perfectly square face. I just find that incredibly funny. It's so off. I don't know. I love it.
The weird skin.
Like I'm really bringing down like the what's the face? I feel like I'm really bringing down the tone of this stream. Yeah.
Damn.
I think a lot of the last few months for me with Momentum, I've just been going more and more insane as I just do all this web stuff, and because I've been streaming it as well. Like, it's like
does that?
I've just been losing my marbles. I don't know. I don't want to go to bed. I've got like something I'm quite looking forward to watching on YouTube tonight that is incredibly sad.
Oh.
I'm gonna watch the final episode of 20 episodes of some guy who's actually the American the latest US Scrabble championship champion. Then you won the last US national championship.
Oh shit!
What's his face? Gosh, so cool.
I wasn't in a room.
He's on his YouTube. Nice, good job. On his YouTube channel, he's been doing this like series where him versus like this Scrabble bot that's quite strong, and he just plays Scrabble against this bot, and I think he's like, sorry for spoilers, anyone, but it's the last episode, and it's 24-24. Plays like 2 games an episode, so I'm quite looking forward to falling asleep watching these final 2 Scrabble games.
It's very sad. Not in an
sad.
emotional way, but in a.
No, I meant like sad.
What am I
as in,
doing
like,
with my life? Kind of
what
way.
are you doing with your life? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like not in
Not in an emotional way. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
Heartbreaking
that was
Scrabble games.
Yeah.
like he gets like I don't know QV, and I just break down into tears.
There's no use left in the bag.
Yeah,
There's no
like-
use.
Yeah. No, if you were a stronger Scrabble player, you'd make that joke, but with eyes, I think. But, you know, QU is like good to have and can score okay, but QI is going to be more of a let you play the Q more reliably. So at least in the end game, especially, like you're not going to be left with the Q. Mac's better at Scrabble than me. I was once playing Scrabble online and screen sharing over Discord, and Mac looked at my rack and was like, "Hey, don't you have martini?" What the fuck? Who finds that?
It wasn't
That's hard
martini.
as
It was
hell to
tequila.
find. No, it was martini.
Was it?
No, it was definitely martini. Yeah. Which is hard to find, right? I wouldn't be looking for I wouldn't be looking for Scrabbles with that, or bingos, you're American, right? I'd just be thinking, how do I play? Get rid of those 2 eyes or something. But
How do we get rid of
martini's
Tim?
hard.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But yeah, like martinis are really nice fun. I don't know, I'm really bad at Scrabble. I'm like that with all like board games and stuff. Whenever I want to like fall asleep, I find watching like chess lectures and Scrabble videos and stuff like there's nothing more pleasurable in life for me than like falling asleep watching that shit. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I don't really get the game theory of like Scrabble of blocking off triple words and everything, but I like getting the
Scrabble's actually
words.
a surprisingly good game. I started watching more of it because of Will Anderson's YouTube videos, and this stream has really devolved. But I started.
Well, we don't have any questions, so
I think I've shown you it, right? The video of that fish play. There's a Will Anderson video on this, like the best fishing play, and I'll spoil it. Where this guy like plays off 2 letters. It's in the end game, right? So you kind of know your Oxyfenbutazone. Yeah, it's like this like theoretical like 1,000 point, like 1,800 or something, like, where it's a constructed board, right? Someone's trying to like figure out what's the most points you could get from like a single play, and that's a very difficult question to answer. There's no like computer like bound way of you can't solve that with a computer, right? There's so many possibility space way too high. But someone like there's this wonderful construction of something you could play like Oxyfenbutazone, where like obviously you can't play all those letters at once, but like the board is set up in that way where there's like a valid board state, right? Where a full game could have been played out like this, and then you'd be able to play Oxyfenbutazone, where you hit like 3 triple words, you make like multiple Scrabbles at once, and it's very silly.
Oh, does it count if you turn someone else's word into a 7-letter word? Surely that doesn't give you 50 points.
No, it's 50 points if you play all your letters. Yeah. So you have 7 letters and you play all of them. You get, but the 50 points that doesn't really matter, right? The bingo doesn't like get multiplied or anything. The main thing that matters is you triple. Oh, sorry, triple is triple is the thing where you hit 2 triples. It'll be triple with that like naming. Oh look, Nick's nearly at the end. I've just been sitting on this head for a while. But sorry, the fishing play is this guy, I can't remember his name, Jim Geary is the name, who played, a fish in Scrabble is where you play like a few letters hoping that you get a certain draw and you can play something else. And in the end game, when you can know exactly what letters your opponent has, and also your own letters, typically you should know those, hi Nick. Basically the guy fishes, and it's a 1 in 68 chance, I think, that he gets OE or something he needs to draw. And he realizes that if he draws OE, he can play the word waterzooey. So Waterzooi, which is some Dutch like fish stew, but it's a word.
Really?
Waterzooi is a word, and so he's behind like 100 points or something. But he fishes for it, he hits it, plays Waterzooi. His opponent challenges, which in American Scrabble means that if you challenge and it is a word, then you lose your turn for challenging. So if someone plays a word, other player challenges. If it's true, then that the person that challenges loses their turn. So Jim Geary drew this, played it, was challenged. It is a word, and then he plays out and wins. So he won the game because of it. It's absolutely absurd play, but that's a really fascinating dynamic, and like that's the skill level of professional Scrabble. Well, not professional, I don't think anyone knows like living from it, but high level Scrabble where you can see word combinations that you could have if you got the right draw. So sorry, I'll start talking about Scrabble now. It's only 30 viewers. We got like 1,000 views on the YouTube bots. So it's like half an hour. We got Scrabble. The Nigel Richards stuff. Scrabble is a really interesting game in that it's a game where the world's best player is a very, very long way ahead of everyone else.
Is that the guy that
Nigel Richards
talks about the French thing where he just
the fact that he is the French Scrabble champion despite not speaking French. Just hilarious. But he is like astonishingly good, and his memory is just a lot of Scrabble is about memory and being able to like be confident in like your memory, right? Like especially like challenges are super hard, because if you can being able to like confidently challenge someone's 9-letter word, right, where there's some funny Nigel Richards stuff that he does, or he challenges stuff that is incredibly hard for anyone else to ever challenge, but he does them. Yeah,
it's not just like challenging words on words. You've got to know the correct spelling of everything as well, which is
and also there's the fact there's 2 different dictionaries. In the US, there's Collins, and then the rest of the world uses, or it's the other way around. I can't remember. So Nigel Richards is a very interesting figure in that he is so much better than everyone else. And there's some YouTube videos where some guy was talking about like other people in sports who would like that. I think they were talking about Jim, what's his face, the cricketer thingy. There's some cricket batsman who was considered the best batsman ever. I don't know cricket, but this video was talking about this guy and saying, chess is interesting, where some people like to say that like there's like absolute best chess players in the world, but actually I don't think it is. No one fully agrees on who the greatest chess player of all time was. Where typically in the top 3 you'll get Carlsen, Kasparov, and Fischer. But really everyone will give different opinions on who of those 3 is the greatest. Well, I would probably say Fischer, but I don't really know. But then there's also Paul Morphy, who was probably in history the player who's been better than everyone else by the most amount, right? Where Morphy was living in like the 1800s, right? Like 1850s or whatever. But Morphy was by far better than everyone else in the world by a very long way. But lived a very long time ago, and chess theory wasn't what it is now, or even was in Fischer's time.
No, I miss my ramp rocket. This map's very lovely.
Yeah, it's nice. This is a thingy. Who?
Seer.
Seer. Yeah.
But not that Seer, the other Seer.
Not Shader Seers.
Shader Seers.
What? Yeah. The guy who just
I forgot we got
about, like,
the decal like fading back in.
Yeah.
That's very nice.
It is really
and the
nice.
explosions
and
look
no longer
realistic.
Like blue goo.
Yeah,
they're
blue
not
goo.
blue anymore. So it's a real.
Long live the blue goo.
Hooked up to a CVAR?
I forget
isn't it?
actually.
Yeah.
No.
Which is
doesn't look
actually
like
really
it.
impressive, because Source's decal system is written in Fortran, so it's actually really. The fact that this was able to be integrated. Is
Oh wait,
awesome.
no, they are. Mom,
Really,
RJ
really
decals
well.
fade. You can turn them off.
Thank God that SL is upgrading us to Fortran 2023.
Yeah.
That did just come out. That's a thing now.
Yeah, no,
Oh
Fortran
my
compilers have been really
God.
like worked on recently, right? Because the
'Cause
AI
apparent-
stuff has like made more of a.
Oh.
But I showed you that article, right, about the Python. Was it what Python app? Python's at 3.12 now, right? I think. Getting like SciPy and NumPy, getting it compiling because loads of that stuff is written in Fortran, and getting it working on Windows, I think, was the thing.
Yeah.
The sulfidic challenge is that.
Miracle. Yeah. Damn.
But yeah. No, so that's a really interesting. If you're interested in like programming language compilation stuff, which why would you be? But I don't want to. I need to. Okay.
There we go. There we go. No, I fucked it. Oh, come on. There we go. Yes. All right, we're free. 10 minutes later. Ah, come on.
Okay, I'll post. This is the fishing play video if you want to watch it. This is genuinely like Will, what's his face? Is Will Anderson's channel.
Oh, gotta keep going. Okay. Not too high up though. I could probably hold into it. Fuck. It's very hard to balance. I don't think I've ever really done gameplay like this where it's like, oh yeah, like wall climb and keep going like sideways. Like
yeah,
I've never done this before. It's very new to me.
I hate rocket jump. Rocket jump is so good at times, but then has like worse stuff. Like
it's very interesting. Wait, is my
yeah. I just find because I use quite a low sense, I find it really hard to do wall shots. Also because I use center fire, which I think you're using as well. Oh yeah, the view model changes if you're not.
Yeah, I am.
But I just find doing wall shots. What sense are you using?
2.2.
What DPI or what like that's 260? What's your DPI? 800 or?
I have no idea actually.
I'm gonna say you're 800 DPI.
Yeah, probably 800. Yeah.
So you're like your sense is like you have like kind of average.
Oh, that's the next.
My sense is a fair bit lower than yours.
Oh, we gotta spin. We gotta spin.
We gotta spin. He says he just like spins the wrong way.
What do I do there? What was that?
Shoot off the wall rather than the ramp. Just hit the auto edge bug and then.
Oh, I remember this.
Oh, it's an auto edge bug. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, what? Oh, I have to hold into it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't like this.
You shouldn't have to hold anything. I think you just hit it.
No, I think I'm bouncing off the ramp. That's why I have to hold into it a little. Yeah, see, there we go. Oh, okay. All right. Yep, I see how to do it. All right. There we go. Easy. Oh, no, not easy. I did not hit that second rocket. Whoops. I love every single one of this game's modes. Oh. I got the sync without looking. Tempest? Question mark? I go this way? I do go this way. No, it's not my phone assistant. All right. Okay. Uh-huh. What? Oh. Okay, so it's like a pinch. So I go over here and then no. Okay, so I need wait, what? Okay, so
What you need is a pinch.
There might be another auto edge bug at the bottom of the corner.
Yeah.
So you want to auto edge bug, then poke off the black and slide up the other side.
Okay. I'm teleporting before I even hit the. Do I just have to?
Not auto edge bug then.
Oh, okay. Yep. I just shoot a rocket. Oh, okay. I'm gonna make it. Don't worry. I'll make it.
Yeah, you got this.
Yeah, I got this. All right. There we go.
Yeah, this map came out after I stopped playing RJ, so I've not played this map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can offer no assistance.
Yeah, I just saw it on the thing and it looked good. It's only tier 2, so how bad can I be, right? Oh, wait, okay, maybe it is auto edge bug? You just have to crouch? That might be it. Maybe it's yeah, crouch. Yeah, and I think you shoot... Ooh, oh, come on! Oh, that was almost it. Yeah, you just crouch. Yeah, okay. Well, I ruined that one.
Oh, I just realised that you took the time to remove the bisexual and elephant tags from the stream.
Yeah, they were not really applicable because I'm not a bisexual elephant anymore. But
well, no, it's okay. Yeah, anymore. Yeah, I was gonna say like, oh yeah, no, he's straight now. But then I was like, oh yeah, no, he stopped being an elephant.
Yeah, lost some weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a bit of an elephant lately. As in very large ears, and I live in a like, yeah, a savannah.
There we go, easy. Oh god, that feels really good to hit. Where's the end? Oh my god, what? Checkpoint 8. What? Is this not the end? Okay, I guess there's. Yeah, I see the end zone.
Have they just not checked into the last stage?
Oh. Okay, well, something that map porting will fix.
Yeah, if only we had some kind of system that if that was,
porting, but yeah,
if someone didn't do that and made that mistake, that during the process of that map being added, someone could point that out.
Okay, so that's that fizzles. So just this side.
That's amazing.
Portal 2 bunny hopping. It's just normal bunny hop with Eric's cell locking. Pretty much when you go over a specific speed, at least co-op is, but like,
yeah. What if?
No, it is the same in like the single player.
Yeah.
You can strafe up until like 400 units, and then you just lose all control.
You just lose directional.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. If you want a Portal 2 bunny hop mode, ask P2C because that's pretty much.
I was gonna say something funny and then realized it was incredibly mean.
That's
let's say it anyway.
No.
The problem with that is if we added that, we then like bring in the Portal community.
Oh yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Which some great people in the Portal community, but then sometimes I read the P2C Discord and it's like, yeah.
I don't know. I think there's just some odd people in every online community.
Okay, this is not the side for me.
Yeah, I think the all people getting momentum are like. I'm not gonna say that. Okay.
Just name all the people you think are odd in the momentum community. Go on.
No, I was gonna say something. No, I was gonna say something worse. Anyway. I don't know. Yeah. Especially like speedrunning and stuff, there's always going to be weird stuff there. What's always funny about that is you then also get like the most like grounded, lovely people as well in like speedrunning community and stuff.
Yeah.
It's always a really mixed bag where you find some people that are just like the sanest people ever, and then you meet someone who like makes you question like, I don't know, your very values.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. It's true. All communities tend to have people like that, though. You know, and it's really up to like the moderators of a community to decide whether or not they want to deal with it. So yeah, that's fair.
This Wolfboy 248 guy is sounding like a VQ3 main right now. With the talk of redirects.
That's always the thing with like those modes that are kind of good, but like there's like little bits of nuance there sometimes. But like,
how do I do this?
I don't know. The thing, so we were saying earlier, like we are probably going to do some other Bhop sub modes where we definitely want to do HR1 or some gold source based Bhop because that's awesome, and maybe scroll hop. I know Panda's super keen on scroll hop, and lots of Bhop maps I've actually made for scroll hop originally, and it does feel kind of And with the sub-mode system, we really do get like more freedom there, right? We can just do a whole separate sub-mode, and it ends up getting it has its own ranks and everything, right? Like rank XP is per sub-mode now.
Yeah, it's per sub-mode, yeah.
And we've been thinking about the UI for all this stuff quite a bit, right? So we're kind of prepared to like we plan on doing some different. We're going to basically have a big game mode selection page in the UI in the future, rather than being able to like select multiple game modes in the map selector, which most people don't like anyway, and a lot of people don't realize like you can right click the game mode selection thing in the map selector, which is very obscure and weird because what UI does right clicks is like a different way of pressing a button. It's not good UI UX. It's my fault. Anyway,
I think
what we're going to do is
starting from the corner.
That's always your problem.
Yeah.
That's generally my issue when eating a
pizza.
Well, no, that's an yeah. Don't do that. That is yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Piss off the Italians. Actually, that's not even true. It was like Neapolitan pizza. Like you often will cut off like the crust and try that first, right? And that's like an acceptable thing to do. Like anyway.
Oh.
What would be a better food for that?
Oh, you can land down here? That makes okay. I thought I had to make. Oh wait, but you have to fucking
sink. Yeah,
I have to sink. Okay.
You have to fucking.
I'm not going to sink. I am going to make it all the way there and cheese this ending. The wall writing's already giving me enough.
So game mode selection thing, that would be cool. And we're sort of keeping that in mind because we want to do sub modes. We'll probably have like the lesser sub modes. We'll just have slightly smaller buttons in like the game mode selection UI or whatever. They'll in practice exactly the same. Whatever. So stuff like gold source Bhop, that's something we do want to do. What we don't really want to do though is like really small sub modes that are like really obscure and not that good. So I feel like I don't really know Portal 2 movement very much, but it sounds like it would be in that category of like kind of well, it's like scroll hop, HL1 Bhop. I mean, those are great.
I can't stay against the wall. I don't know why. My wall shots are too powerful. Fuck.
So gold source movement is just very different. Gold source is like floatier and kind of more smooth. And you have way less air excel, but you can still sort of gain speed. It's hard to explain, and I don't know it super well. But like
you're not allowed to shoot those red walls, by the way, Go. Are they no grenaded?
No, yeah, they're no grenaded.
Okay.
But I didn't need it. Yeah, easy.
Okay,
fine. I'm in mapping mode, so no save or no upload. Rather.
Cold Source also has that thing where there's no straight or there's no acceleration penalty when you're like moving up, like you have in Source games. That doesn't exist in Cold Source.
Yeah.
Right. Gold Source just feels really good. Conc is kind of like that, though. I think Conc's not quite right, but
Conc's not using gold source settings already. We just made up generic cell value.
Do we have gold source stuff? Then I thought like a while ago.
Half-Life movement is public. Team Fortress Classic isn't.
Okay. Yeah, I lost track. I think Thingy was saying that you might
play a little sticky jump, and then we can end it.
We could probably like really easily port Half-Life movement. Just add that as like a new game movement class.
Yeah.
That would be really easy. It just
would
need to do the legwork for it. I've thought about doing it for fun, but
yeah, one of the things like game modes are one of the things that like sometimes we don't let ourselves work on or limit how much we work on just because they are like super fun but not necessarily like stuff we need to do. That being said, for a lot of devs that don't have that much time and want to just do something, like it can be a really good thing to work on. But yeah, I don't know. I think gold source movement just feels great, and I'd love to like. I could see myself playing that a ton. But also with the submod system, like maps can be. You can have maps that like have a ranked leaderboard in like CS source based Bhop, right? But like unranked in gold source or whatever. You could have a map that literally just works in like gold source based Bhop. That'd be fine. All these different things, but like a leaderboard can be ranked, unranked, hidden. Actually, we're gonna do with something we discussed in the last month, I think. Mac's idea, which is really nice, where like, unless we ban a certain leaderboards, which we do for like surf on Bhop, if you like beat a map, like a rocket jump map in like surf somehow, you will get a run. There will be a leaderboard. It's just we won't show that really in the UI unless you're playing that map in that mode, which is really cool. And so we might have some weird stuff, but yeah.
Ooh. Oh yeah, the Easter eggs below.
I can't wait to get map submission. I can't wait to just get a 10 out. A 10's gonna feel great.
It's gonna be so good.
O10's such a big thing.
The game already feels so good. It's like crazy.
Yeah, but O10 is like maps. Actually, more maps get added, but like maps start to matter. Like the quality of maps starts to matter. Like O10 is absolutely taking a while, but there's so much stuff in it, and it makes so much sense to push lots of stuff into like cram a lot into O10, even if it does take longer, because we reached an important milestone of like map zones mattering and map design mattering and bugs on maps actually be worth reporting. So, yeah.
Damn it. Get too much airtime there.
It's kind of annoying watching you do this on stream because like the delay means that like I hear you fail before I see you fail.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. That's why I try to be quiet.
Yeah.
Damn. It's quite a mean tier 2 this. It's very pogo heavy. Not many tier 2s are pogo heavy.
We'll wait until we get our new tier system, and then I'll be like, oh shit, I'm not that great at pogo.
Oh yeah, that. That's why I'm not done tags yet. The tags aren't even in the back end. Yeah, should we talk about that? With tags, you're going to be able to set difficulties on tags. Tags, like, at first we're going to be quite a loose thing where you just set whatever tags you want as a mapper. But actually there'll be a finite number of tags per game mode. Like a small set of sabs you can have. And those tags can be given tiers. I think we're saying they can just be easy, medium, and hard, right? Is that we're going to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like 3 levels of, like, heavy or difficulty.
So the idea is that you can like tier like a track on a map. So typically it's going to be the main track on some map, right? In the mode the map's submitted for, though it could be for a bonus and some weird sub mode that like off mode, whatever. Where you can say like, you know, for surf this is like unit surf, like hard unit surf or something, and you could give it the tag of unit surf, or you could give it the tag for spins, and you could have, you know, a map that has spins but like easy. So like, I don't know, like Royal or something, right, would be like hard spins for like the tier 6 or whatever it is. Whilst like, is Royal 6 or 5? I think it's 5. I don't know. So the kind of, the hardness of it, easy, medium, hard, that's going to be relative to its overall tier, right? These are just kind of saying that like, what, like, techniques a map has sort of relative to that tier. So if you're playing a tier 8 unit surf map, it's going to be like, it could just be unit surf. I think we are saying you don't have to put the difficulty on, but it could just be a tier 8 and it says unit surf, so you know it's a tier unit surf map. Well, it's like, maybe it doesn't apply super well to surf actually, but yeah, especially with like jump, where like especially when you're filtering, like, so you can just like filter out any wall pogo map. Beautiful, like amazing. I don't have to play wall pogo ever again.
Yeah.
So I have a bunch of jump maps and I just filter out the wall pogo map. You know?
Yeah. It's important for people to know what they're getting into as well, which is a huge thing that like map selectors and stuff like we need to be able to.
Especially when the pool gets really large.
Yeah, right. When the map is like, or map pool is like, you could literally play like any like any map you want at any time, and there's thousands of maps. It's like, yeah, right.
And then it's just cool data, because then you can start to like maybe do like player profiles and stuff based on like what kind of stuff are they best at, right? You could be like, yeah, they're generally like they beat in every tier 4, but like they're in group 3 or above, or like stuff with unit surf, and then everything else they're like, you know, like it's just a cool data point that is also useful. Like you said, Mitch, that's exactly what I was planning on doing. I don't think we have mock-ups for it, but that was what I had in my head, like map selection and stuff. It would be you just have like green, orange, red, or something for the. Or something like that, you know, for the color-based tiers.
Why is that solid? What the fuck? Okay, well, I almost got that.
Did you just jump into a wall and say, why is that solid?
No, it's like the ceiling should be, like, brushed off.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, it's like weirdly like another area you can go all the way up on.
Ceilings are generally like the least important of like the 6 sides of a room. You know, if you enter a room and there's no ceiling, like that's usually bad, but you know, tolerable.
Yeah.
If you enter a room and there's no floor, like oh god.
Oh yeah.
You know, fighting Balrogs or whatever. What am I talking about?
I don't know. But that's the beauty of the Q&A.
The image I had in my head of like
minutes.
walking into a room, there's no floor, and you just start falling for like all eternity. Like in the film. What is that film? Was the Gandalf and the Balrogs?
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, Michael Gambon was good in that.
Oh man, I'm just too low. I need to get a little bit of height off of my second double. I'm a sticky jumper.
Oil and trouble. Why does the rest of that go? The double, toil and trouble bit. That would be another way for me to be really annoying in Counter-Strike.
Fire, burn, cauldron, bubble.
Nice, thanks. Because I've been playing a lot of Nuke, and people sometimes call double doors on B, right? And they'll just say, so if I feel like being annoying in Counter-Strike, and someone says like calls 2B, I'll then just say like, oh, you know, to be
or not to be,
or not to be. That is the question whether it is noble to suffer in the mind of slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take up troubles. What is it? To take up arms against a sea of troubles and by something end them. Anyway, just you call that, you com that, and you'll do it in like your com voice. If it's normal, like to be or not to be, whether it's noble to suffer in the mind of yeah. Anyway, but I could start doing that with the double doors on B. Fire, burn, and cauldron. Shakespeare is I've spoken about Shakespeare loads before. Shakespeare's so good. Like Shakespeare's underrated.
I've not gone out of my way to read anything other than what I was forced to do in school.
That's exactly it, right? That's the problem. Is you do Shakespeare in school, and Shakespeare's just ugh. Shakespeare is like this absolutely startlingly brilliant artist, and you know this kind of person with just an utterly unique, not just grasp of the English language, but as like any writer in any language. I think you can argue that Shakespeare has a sort of uniquely, at least just a gift towards English and a way of composing writing that's just utterly transcendental. It's just completely. Anyway.
The teleport trigger's taller than it looks.
But then you just do Shakespeare in school and you have to like write a fucking GCSE exam on fucking Macbeth or whatever, and it's like the most soul-destroying shit.
Yeah, like, did Macbeth and Romeo and Juliet were the two that I did, I think.
Macbeth is so great. Macbeth is like the most perfect play ever. Like it's so good. Macbeth is so good. The writing is so good and it's so original, and it's like this. When was Shakespeare writing in like 1520 whatever? I could be getting that completely wrong. But like, and it's just utterly shockingly original and brilliant. Like the Macbeth witches are like. Anyway,
easy now.
I've done this rant before to Lumia, right? I think.
Yes.
I ranted so much that Lumia agreed to watch Throne of Blood. But yeah, like Shakespeare, it just ruins it doing it in school. There's so little to it. But then seeing, you know, if you get the chance, see Shakespeare in a theatre. Go to the theatre and watch a Shakespeare play, because it can be absolutely brilliant and like emotional and challenging and just great.
There's a performance of Macbeth happening somewhere in my locale sometime soon. I keep passing the sign on my way to work, and I can make out the word Macbeth, but I can't see where it is or like what the date is.
Okay.
So I need to drive past it at 2 a.m. when there's no traffic and just stop on the road and see when they're producing it.
Well, this is the thing with the UK is like there is just often so much good Shakespeare. A lot of like really modern, interesting Shakespeare. Like I've seen a really weird Macbeth thing done before. I'd said this before, like the joke in it at the start of Macbeth, the double toil and trouble, where the witches are being done by like 4 blokes on synthesizers in this performance. They're just DJs, right? Playing the witches of Macbeth, and one of them walks on stage carrying like this thing of like 4 coffee cups, right? Like Starbucks, whatever, coffee cardboard thingies. Hands one to one of the guys on the like synthesizers. and just hands them it as like double.
Solid. Oh, they are.
And then the
solid
next
walls.
guy, double. Then the third guy hands them a cup of coffee, toil. Like, it's just a good joke. And it's, you know, it's Shakespeare. It's supposed to be this boring shit you do in school and everyone hates, and then you go see it. And it's just interesting and fun.
Okay, I don't want to use that first one anymore. Wait, no, maybe I do. Fuck. I mean, it gives you a better angle. I will get this. I will be a sticky jumper. Yeah, I think you're supposed to use the wall like somewhere. I don't. I guess like do this down to there maybe, and then over probably. That might be like a cheese/pro speedrun strat. Probably. I mean, I know like Soup or whoever can fucking air pogo this shit. Oh man. I need to rebind my crouch off of control. My pinky's gonna fucking dislocate.
Yeah. My pinky used to be bulletproof when I played this for 8 hours a day for about 5 years straight.
Yeah.
But now my pinkies just fall off after 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could rebind it to shift because there's no sprint in the mode. But once we get game mode specific configs.
Oh, yeah. We'll do those eventually.
Oh, yeah.
I buckled, like, recently. I used for years, well, a couple of years, I think, with Momentum, I refused to make game mode specific, like, CFG files. Because it would annoy me into making me want to do the game mode specific config UI and stuff. We've still not done it, and I buckled and actually made those configs recently. So I have binds per game mode, and I have to type them in console every time. But...
Just do a triple off the first one and go straight around the corner.
Honestly, yeah, at this point. Might as well just triple it. I'm gonna try to beat the map.
Good triple.
Yeah, it was a... Okay. Well, maybe I just need to do...
Amazing stuff, like
Whee!
a budding talent.
Watch out, Soup, I'm coming for your world records.
He says as he just jumps into a wall.
Yeah, just jump into a wall.
Honestly, like sticky jump is such a good mode though. Like I've spent been ranting about how bad rocket jump is. Like sticky jump in comparison is just like beautiful.
It's it's a lot of
It's such a cool right. It's such an interesting mode, and it's like clever. And then rocket jump is just like me shoot wall.
I mean, to be fair, sticky jump is just a me shoot floor over and over.
No, it's like, but they're flying and like in the air and complicated.
So I don't really like about sticky jump though is just the learning curve of
Yeah.
do tier 3s you need to spend a bunch of hours just learning to pogo, and then to get up to tier 5 you just need to learn how to pogo better, and then to do tier 6s you need to learn how to pogo, and then that's like all there is to learn about sticky jump.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Really? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very like intricate mode. Please play Conc. Oh, you missed us. You missed us. We were playing. I played through Speed earlier. Very fun map. Oh, just like an absolute classic. I'm looking forward to the new map. I saw the trailer. It looks really good. Pedal binds are superior. I mean, yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna air pogo all the way over there. Let's go.
It's only like 2 stickies. Doable.
It actually doesn't look that hard to. Is that easy to air pogo, or is it too like?
It's quite awkward to get around the corner.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
seems
the
like
corners
that,
are
yeah.
probably the biggest.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's only 2 stickies.
Damn. I'm going too high. Fuck. Well, actually, I could probably just use the walls instead.
I'm trying to think of like some kind of like maybe Pinky in the brain of like just rocket jump and sticky jumps. That's like something that like relates the two, you know, like
Yeah.
how do they stand in relation to one another?
My pinky's killing me from this. But yeah, how close was I? So once you get over here, fall down, and this is the
the waterfall.
Yeah.
Is that the end? No.
No, there's another jump. This is 7 right here, which you gotta go up, and then 8 is. Okay. Well, I'll be better eventually, I promise. But that's it. That's the end of the stream. So, for those that stuck around, please let us know how this format went. Was this better than the previous time, where we kind of just sit and stare at the questions with you? Yeah, because this is kind of the format we want to do going forward, where we just have gameplay and like show off the game and like play it a little bit. Especially as we're maybe getting less and less questions, which is completely fine. Just playing the game, and that's really what these days are meant to be. It's just kind of like a hangout with the dev team, as many devs as could be here, and just asking us questions and answering and stuff. So,
cool. No, I like it. I like being able to talk about really exciting topics like Scrabble and
Shakespeare. But yeah, no. That's what I mean. Is like it's just kind of like a open forum concept.
Yeah.
After having gone through the pre-asked questions, which if you guys are not in our Discord, please join !Discord. That's where we're kind of curating all these questions. We can always have like if there's infographics and stuff, we can have those on screen too. So it's nicer that way. But like it helps give us a little bit of structure so that we aren't just starting a stream just and playing momentum and like chaotically answering questions. But yeah, like it's very fun. I enjoyed that, so we'll be doing this going forward. Hopefully it's also more more appealing for those watching on YouTube. Enjoying a bit more of the game, because previously it was like upwards of like 30 minutes at the end of all the questions to play the game, and it's like that's not a good way to do it. So. Yeah, this way is much better, and I'm seeing it in chat. You guys liked it. It's good to hear. And so just if you have any feedback on like how to do like things better, please let us know. But I guess we'll go ahead and raid. Is there anyone streaming? There was somebody, I think. Nope. Okay.
Ruler was streaming a while ago, but
Yep. Who do we got? Oh man.
It's always otters.
Yeah, I mean we just raid otters, I guess.
There's genuinely I don't know. There's like no one.
Liquidator CS is doing a 100% grind of surf maps, I assume.
That works.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, sounds good.
Voice team.
Thank you. All right, but that go ahead or that ends our stream. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll go ahead and raid somebody going for some Surf 100% Liquidator CS. All right, cool. Go and enjoy Liquidator. The raid message is please play and your favorite game mode of all time, along with a smile. You gotta be polite. So I'll do Surf because it's wait no, just kidding. What? He's already doing that. Anyway, go and enjoy Liquidator. Thank you all so much for watching. Catch you all in the next stream.
Laters.